I mean, first we get the news this morning that Jeff Wilson is on the IR. Maybe he's coming back this year. No idea what the hell that's about. So obviously, Raheem Mostert going up. And now we have Cooper Kupp re-aggravating the hamstring injury. This is the concern that you have with Cooper Kupp. This is the concern that you have in general with a 35-year-old wide receiver that injures his hamstring before the season starts. I mean, this is a brutal, brutal spot. And yeah, I mean, drop the RIPs while you still can. And let's go ahead. Let's hop into a $350 fantasy football draft and see if we actually have these guys moving draft boards. Let's see if Cooper Kupp is going to be falling down at all. So let's get in this $350 draft. Hopefully we're able to fill this relatively soon. And it's filled, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be in here at pick 6. So let's go ahead and let's get this going. Yeah, I don't know if I said Kupp being 30 or not. Yes, Cooper Kupp's 30 years old, ladies and gentlemen. Cooper Kupp is 30 years old. And I know it's crazy because he was drafted in 2017, but coming out of a super small school. Cooper Kupp stayed five years in school. Like, I mean, you look at other wide receivers in that same 2017 draft class, such as like Juju Smith-Schuster. Juju's only like pushing 26 when Kupp's 29 now, pushing 30, of course. But at 6, we're going to have our feet held to the fire, and I'm sure we are going to have the question, do we take Cooper Kupp? I'm going to assume we have the ability to. I'm going to assume that he falls to us. No idea if he actually is worth taking, though. Oh, my gosh. Why did you have to give us 6? You could have given me 1. You could have given us 12. You could have given us anything but this pick. Where now we actually have to think about this injury a little bit more in depth without actually just sitting here waiting to see what people were going to do, right? So you have Jefferson Chase off the board 1 and 2. What is this team doing at 3? They go ahead, they take CMC. I'm assuming we get a Tyreek Hill selection at 4. What does Scorpion do? Do they go ahead and do they take Cooper Kupp? What's going on here? I'm going to need your help in the live chat like ASAP. So the report is Kupp suffers setback, consider day-to-day. Kelsey goes. Spam the chat. Who do you want? Do you want us to take Cooper Kupp or Bijan Robinson? We got a vote for Bijan, another vote for Bijan. Bijan, Kupp, Bijan. Kelsey Eckler, Bijan. It looks like everybody's saying no to Cooper Kupp. Looks like everybody going in on Bijan Robinson. So we'll take Bijan here at 6. I'm assuming that Kupp goes soon, right? Kupp probably goes at 7. Unless Austin Eckler goes. If Eckler goes at 7, it'll make me feel pretty good about us passing on Kupp. You have Barkley going at 7. Very rarely do you get Barkley round 1 in these underdog drafts, but in the $350 drafts, you will see some mix-ups. You have Cooper Kupp finally off the board at 8. And a real quick announcement, ladies and gentlemen, just in case you don't know what we're doing, we're drafting on Underdog Fantasies, where we draft every single day on this live stream. Have not missed a day of live streaming in like 125 days now. And on Underdog, not only do they have best ball drafts, it's no time commitment at all during the season. So I drafted 700 teams, won $150,000 on Underdog last year. But also, if you sign up to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, you're going to get a dollar-for-dollar deposit match up to $100. You are going to get our 2023 fantasy football rankings. You're going to get a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And sit tight because I've never seen this much. But Underdog is a site-wide special for everybody on Underdog. More than less than half a total yard for Patrick Mahomes Thursday night against the Lions. Plus, if you sign up to Underdog and you are a new user on Underdog, you are also going to get a mystery pick'em special week 1 this season on top of the Mahomes line. And then this is where it gets crazy, right? Because 2 special pick'ems is already kind of wild. Only with promo code FLOCK, this special pick'em is going to be available, but Josh Allen more than less than half a passing yard. So please, if you have not taken advantage of this yet, I have literally never seen anything like this. I mean, I guess Underdog is probably pretty pissed that they agreed to give us that exclusive Josh Allen pick'em special week 1, knowing the other offers that they have going on site-wide right now. So make sure y'all go take advantage of that, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that is freaking nuts right now. And I know, I've literally never seen it before. Never seen any site have anything like that. I mean, having 2 in the same week is nuts. Having all of them is pretty wild. But Dang Shoot coming out with a donation and another one. But we're going to get to the first one on the other screen. So just give me 1 second, my friend. Olave off the board, 16. Nick Chubb makes it all the way down to 17. So it's a pretty weird draft overall where you have Barkley going 7, Nick Chubb going 17, Garrett Wilson goes 18. We will go ahead and we'll take Davante Adams to pair up with Bijan Robinson. I mean, very lucky to get Adams falling this far. You had to have Derrick Henry moving up to 15 and Chris Olave moving up to 16 for this to happen. But going Bijan Robinson round 1 puts us in a position where we kind of have to go wide receiver, knowing that it's going to be much harder to find wide receivers on Underdog Fantasy in particular later. So yeah, let's make sure that we lock them up while we still can. Waddle goes 21. Okay, but Dang Shoot says, Mason, trade question. Dynasty 10 team, start 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 flexes. Traded away my future first in a package for Patrick Mahomes. We have Mahomes, Russ, Young, Etienne, Gibbs, Hall, Akers, Bigsby, Roschon, A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Higgins, London, Burks, Sky Moore, Johnson, Rice, Mims, and Njoku Kmet. Should we trade Treylon Burks for an early second next year and Kadarius Toney to stack? Hell yes, my man. First off, phenomenal deal. I understand it's a 1 quarterback format, but still being able to trade your future first for Patrick Mahomes in a dynasty league where you only have start 2 wide receivers and 2 flexes. I mean, that is absurd, not to mention that this team is clearly contending. If you're going to get the 2nd round pick on top of Kadarius Toney, you have to go ahead and you have to pull the trigger. But Jalen Hurts, Mark Andrews off the board there, 23-26. Let's see what we're doing at 30. Okay. Metcalf goes. We're going to get Josh Allen. There's no way Scorpion goes Allen, right? When they start off Mahomes, Kelsey. Oh, I am pumped about this team. I felt like we were put in a very difficult spot to have to take Bijan Robinson where we did at 6. But now knowing that we get Davante Adams 19, Josh Allen 30. I mean, this is a beautiful squad. Amari Cooper goes, so let's go ahead and let's fire up Josh Allen at pick 30. I love this team, ladies and gentlemen. I really do. But Mark says, UT alumni, hook 'em horns, my man. 12-team PPR in an hour, probably going to have the number 1 pick. What is the best advice for the 2-3 turn? Do we reach on the quarterback, running back, or running back reach / wide receiver value? I think we take the elite level quarterback if we can, my friend. And then I think we stay flexible when it comes to taking an RB versus a wide receiver with the pick. I'll say in general, I would like to go with the running back, knowing that we're going to start with Jefferson off the board at 1. But I definitely love grabbing the elite level quarterback where we can there at the 2-3 turn. But ladies and gentlemen, if you have not done so already, can you please go down there and drop a like on this live stream? This is going to be a live stream where we have 3 $350 drafts underway. I mean, I don't know if we've ever done 3 $350 drafts in one stream. I don't know if this has ever been done before. So please, if somehow you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on the stream. I mean, it helps us out a ton. Now, Lamar does go 33. Y'all know generally I love getting Lamar, but I mean, there's no way he makes it back to us at 43. And we already have Allen. But Shamil coming out says, I'm stressing in a 10-team league. I have pick 7. Kelsey, if Kelsey goes before me, what should be my strategy? Do I target Andrews at the 3-4 turn and also want a top quarterback? I would say if it's going to be a league with only 1 flex, I would love Andrews round 4. I mean, I think you would love to pair up Andrews and Lamar. So it depends on which order you take them on, who you're more likely to get back in round 4. Riz says rebuild one quarterback, lost T and CD. Lost T, what? No idea who the hell T is. T Higgins, CD Lamb for Olave 3 first and Darnell Mooney. I'd rather have Olave over T Higgins. I'd rather have 3 first over CD Lamb on a rebuilding roster, my friend. Okay. But Fields off the board here at 39. DJ Moore goes 40. Not going to sit here and cry about having DJ Moore off the board. Clearly, we're not really looking at Justin Fields when we have Allen. Keenan Allen makes it 41. Drake London goes 42. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Mike Williams. Just lock in some wide receiver production when we could still get it. Now, full transparency, I don't know if I love Mike Williams here at this price point. Just knowing the fact that we're not going to be inclined to go Justin Herbert on the way back around at 54. And that's generally when I decide to take Mike Williams in round 4 is when I want to go Justin Herbert round 5. But, I mean, if you look at the running backs, it's going to be very difficult for us to go through and take someone like Breece Hall, knowing that Breece Hall's not really going to have that workload at the beginning of the season, and you're just drafting him for the weeks 15, 16, 17 upside. And here we want a more well-balanced approach for the entire season, knowing that this is a league where, I mean, it's a smaller overall tournament on Underdog, right? If it was like Best Ball Mania, then I think we'd go Breece Hall. But LLG says, hey, Mason, in Underdog, I wouldn't do this, but in a group of people I know, I picked DK over Higgins and Breece over Mixon. You think that was okay? I would go Mixon over Breece, especially if it's like not an Underdog draft where you're not having to just think about the highest ceiling possible weeks 15, 16, 17. I mean, wide receivers ultimately up to you, especially with the injury that you have to JSN. I think you have to go Mixon over Breece. But David says 10-team at PBR where we start up to 5 wide receivers. Tua, Barkley, Gibbs, Hill, Smith, Godwin, Komet, Terry, Montgomery, Hall, Dotson, Richardson, KJ, Algier, Bateman, Mims. What are you? Beautiful. In a league where you can start up to 5 wide receivers, I love slamming the wide receivers where we did. We didn't sacrifice running back upside either. Obviously, we have a trash tight end, but this is where you would punt tight end given how large the starting lineup is and in general how you're looking at it making up a small percentage of your output on a week-to-week basis overall in that format. Really like it. But now we have Taylor going at 46, which is really interesting for a $350 draft, ladies and gentlemen. Let's swing this back around. Deontay Johnson off 49. What's the report that you have with Terry McLaurin? Not seen at practice. Lockett goes 50. Yeah, you'll notice in these $350 drafts that we're doing tonight that, I mean, people are willing to go out there and they're willing to get their guys. Like you would expect $350 drafts to be a little bit closer to ADP than what you'd have in like the $5 drafts on Underdog, than the $3 drafts on Underdog. But no, I mean, here in these high stakes drafts is where people are not messing around. They're just going to get their guys. Okay, I have plan A, plan B, plan C in my mind. Plan B out the gate. I mean, out the window. Or not able to get them anymore. Plan B still plan A still viable. Scorpion has the Mahomes, Kelsey stack, Amari, and Hopkins at wide receiver. Kurt goes, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take TJ Hawkinson. Now, I think that Justin Herbert would be a very strong value here, and obviously in Underdog drafts, since they're best ball, you can go with a couple top-end quarterbacks. But generally, when we go Josh Allen, I mean, I'm not necessarily at a spot where I feel like we have to go with another quarterback anytime soon. I love Hawkinson. I think it's crazy that people even consider him close to Darren Waller. I think it's a pretty strong price point on TJ Hawkinson overall. So we'll go ahead and we'll pull the trigger at 54. But bro, Fester coming out says, had a great Best Ball Mania draft today on Underdog. Number 1 overall pick. We went Jefferson, Smith, Hurts, Najee Hopkins, James Cook, Javonte, Ingram, Thomas, Juju, Jameson, Higbee, Carr, Hodgins, Chark, Zamir, Conklin, and Marvin Jones. Okay, so tight end we went 3 guys. Quarterback, we only went. I like it. From a roster construction perspective, from a value perspective, getting the Smith Hurts stack and then getting Najee Harris pick 48 is awesome. H says, are we trading Kupp, Mason? Picked him at spot 10, or are we waiting, considering hamstrings can linger? I'm actually going to be fine holding on to Cooper Kupp if you got him at pick 10. Now, if for whatever reason you decided to go through and draft Cooper Kupp over Tyreek Hill, you should have never done it. And if we can still go ahead and possibly swap Kupp for Tyreek, then let's do it. Clearly, I'm worried about this Cooper Kupp situation, and that I did pass on Cooper Kupp at pick 6, whereas before the injury update, I would have taken him. So just give you an idea of where I'm currently at with the guy. Now let's smooth this over. Dotson goes 61. Juan says, thoughts in a 12-team league where we have Dak, Najee, James Conner, Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, Mark Andrews, and Amari Cooper. Beautiful wide receivers. I mean, I just want to roster as many running backs we possibly can on the bench. That way we can have, the upside that we are looking for. C-Money says, how do you apply promo code FLOCK? I'll show you how to do it in a second, my friend. Dotson goes 61. So Dotson before McLaurin at this point. So the report there was Terry McLaurin was not at practice. Don't know how far you end up seeing Terry McLaurin fall in this draft. Evans goes 63. I was just in a $500 slow draft where I actually got Mike Evans in the middle of round 7, which I'm very excited about. What does this team look to do? Also, in that $500 draft, I did take George Kittle at the end of round 6. Okay, so let's report on JSN. Practice. As of now, his week 1 status still up in the air, but returning to practice is a good sign. McLaurin goes 65. Javante goes, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take George Kittle. We're going to pair up the elite level tight ends. Generally, this is not something we're looking to do in a regular fantasy football league, but obviously in best ball, there is some merit in doing this, locking in the top scoring. At least the top 3 tight end pretty much every single week, while at the same time only having to draft 2 of these guys. I don't necessarily know if we want to go Jerry Jeudy with the injury. And I think we're well balanced at the beginning where we're able to pull off a bully tight end strategy. I really like Kittle. Hell, he helped us win a ton of money in underdog drafts last year. And let's run it back. But real quick, going back to that question, if you are wanting to get on Underdog, my friend, whether that's to get in a draft with us or check out any of those pick'em lines, if you click the link in the live chat description section, comment section, and make your account, should automatically fill in promo code FLOCK. Of course, definitely double check it, because if you sign up to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, their best ball drafts, no time commitment at all during the year. It's how I made $150,000 and drafted 700 teams last year. And if you sign up with promo code FLOCK, week 1 is bananas. I've never seen anything like this on any site ever. They have a site-wide special. Patrick Mahomes, more than less than half a total yard Thursday night against the Detroit Lions. Already awesome. You have an exclusive promo code FLOCK special. Josh Allen, more than less than half a passing yard Monday night against the Jets. And also, if you are new to Underdog Fantasy, you are going to get a additional mystery pick'em special week 1 on top of that. So please make sure y'all are taking advantage of this, like literally ASAP. I've never seen anything like that before. And I thought it was crazy that y'all were going to get the Mahomes and Allen one the same week. The fact you're getting another one on top of it is freaking nuts. Okay. So let's smooth this over. Jeffrey says, pick Najee at the 4-5 turn after drafting Jefferson, Henry, Hurts in the first 3 rounds. Got DJ Moore in the 5th. Thoughts? Love it. I understand nobody likes Najee Harris, but if I'm able to get Najee Harris at the 4-5 turn, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I took Najee Harris in round 5 of a $500 draft on Underdog recently. Now, Kyle Pitts goes 72. Obviously, when we take Hawkinson and Kittle, the hope is we begin to see more tight ends get drafted. Like, we kind of hope that we see Dallas Goedert off the board by the time that we're back up, right? Okay. Let's move this down. You have Montgomery going 73. You have Hollywood Brown going 74. I really like the options that we're going to have here at 78. I feel like we're getting really lucky here, ladies and gentlemen. I love our freaking team. This is awesome. Gumbo says, what are your thoughts on Ritter's rushing upside? I think maybe he could be a quarterback that goes out there and averages 25, 30 rushing yards per game. By no means do I expect him to be like Fields, Richardson, Lamar, Hurts. Zaggy says, thoughts on the 10-team league where we have Lamar, CMC, A.J. Brown, Waddle, Hogginson, Connor, and Lockett. Love the quarterback tight end bookends. Let's just make sure that we are going through rostering as many running backs as we can. Don't love James Conner as an RB2, but still, great team. Okay, never mind. I actually thought that we were going to get one of JSN, Gabe Davis, Miles Sanders making it back around to us. I thought that, but apparently we can't count. I guess we're going to go ahead and take Jordan Addison here as our wide receiver 3. I mean, with Addison, I think this is a player that definitely has a very high ceiling for weeks 15, 16, 17 for the fantasy football playoff tournament here. But at the same time, I will be full transparent. I'm a little bit bummed about getting Jordan Addison with this pick. I thought any of the JSN, Gabe Davis, Miles Sanders options would have been much better than Jordan Addison, 78. RM says, hey, Mason, 10-team league with 2 flex spots. We have Allen, Pierce, Pacheco, Sanders, Zeke. Tight end, we have Andrews. Wide receiver, we have Diggs, Olave, Pittman, Davis, Juju, Dotson, Zay, Sky. In need of running backs, any trades. I actually think that there's a chance we're fine at RB. Really, the only thing I'd be doing is looking to possibly, roster one fewer wide receiver, drop Sky Moore, pick up a running back off the waiver wire. Now, if you really wanted to make a trade, the trade would be to try to package together like Jahan Dotson and Isaiah Pacheco after week 1. I think Dotson could start off super hot with the injury to Terry McLaurin. And if you could end up, selling those guys together and getting just one running back upgrade where at the end of the day, it's not going to matter too much considering the fact that you're so strong a wide receiver, I think that would be interesting. Okay. But after we take Addison, we have a couple tight ends going here with Evan Ingram, Dallas Goedert, which we like to see. And ladies and gentlemen, we are 2 likes away from hitting 400 likes in this live stream. Please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on the stream. This is going to be a stream where we get 3 $350 drafts going. I don't know if it's ever been done before. I don't know if we've ever done it. I mean, I would imagine that we would be the person to have done it if it has been done. But make sure you go down there, drop a like. Going to be a massive live stream. Joey says, 12-team full PPR, 1 flex. What are your thoughts? We have Watson, Kupp, Ridley, Barkley, Sanders, Montgomery, Dotson, Addison, Flowers, Johnson, Pirine, Dotson, Dobbs. Worried about Kupp. I understand that you are worried about Kupp, but we're still so damn strong a wide receiver, especially with Dotson to fill in the short term. I think the long term, once we get Kupp back and possibly have an Addison, Flowers, Johnson breakout, we can go through and trade 2 of those guys in a package. Now, the issue is going to be very difficult to make any trades until you have those rookies breaking out with the Cooper Kupp injury. Okay, Brandon Cooks goes 89. Peter says, in a keeper, I have CMC and need to choose between Ramondre and Etienne. Who should I keep? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to keep Travis Etienne, but I know a lot of other people would rather have Ramondre Stevenson. Now I'm going to go DeAndre Swift, 91. Now with Swift, full transparency, Kenneth Walker is the running back that has been getting great reports coming out of camp. He had the usage you wanted to see in the preseason, yada, yada, yada. Still, I think this is an elite level offense. I want a piece of it. Swift can catch the ball. We need a running back. We only have Bijan Robinson. It's the best offensive line in the NFL. I like the talent, so let's go ahead and let's take him. Now, Odier says, trade away Brees to get him back later in the season. I think Brees starts slow, but it's always difficult to say, I like this guy in the long term, but I'm going to sell him now to buy him back later. It's just a lot of times your market in your league's not active enough to be able to pull that off. The liquidity is hard to come by. Garrett says, 12-team PBR, we have Mims, Devon Achane off the waiver wire for Rashee Rice, Kadarius Toney. Thinking of trading Judy for Gibbs or Pacheco for Swift if I can. Should I keep? Oh, no, hell no. If you can trade Jerry Judy for Jahmyr Gibbs, you do that ASAP, my friend. And feel free to go through and package together any of those guys you just picked up off the waiver wire to get that done. Yeah, that is an absolute no-brainer, my man. Now, Jeffrey says, Jalen Hurts, Justin Jefferson, Derrick Henry, Najee, Moore, Evans, Goddard, Dotson, then Gainwell, Javonte, Burks, Dobbs, Dell. Drop Tank Dell. If you're going to look at Tank Dell, we went through and did the research, and there have only been 3 wide receivers since the year 2000 to actually post a season with more than 100 fantasy points in a year. And actually, it wasn't 3 wide receivers. It was, I believe, 2 wide receivers and 3 total finishes, like Taylor Gabriel. The guy just has, realistically speaking, no upside, especially in that offense. It's drop Tank Dell. Go get a running back off the waiver wire. Okay. Now, Cousins goes 97. Cousins would have been a viable pick for us later on. We have Addison and Hawkinson stacked up, right? So the Addison-Hawkinson stack can work out a couple different ways. One, possibly, this is just a better Minnesota Vikings passing offense than people expect. Or 2, you may end up seeing, an injury to Jefferson. Both these guys absolutely crush. But regardless, I think it would have been interesting to get Kirk Cousins on the way back around, but sadly, we're not able to at this point. Now, Scorpion on the clock has been a pain in the ass to draft next to all night. At least we gave him Sky Moore in the last draft, so maybe they give us someone here. We'll see what happens. They go Brian Robinson, so I guess we're going to go ahead and we are going to take Khalil Herbert. I mean, I kind of owe the guy an apology, right, in that we did not talk about Khalil Herbert in our running back rankings video. We kind of just threw him up there, forgot to talk about him, and I am sorry, Khalil Herbert. Hopefully me spending $350 in a fantasy football draft to go ahead and take you a pick 102 as our RB3 will make it up to you. Hopefully it will. But Allie coming out says, 14-team app PBR pick 5. We have Eckler, Waddle, Higgins, Waller, Montgomery, Godwin, Addison, Charbonnet, Devon Achane, Daniel Jones, Rice. Took Waller over Walker. Is it a big reach? I like the team still as it stands, but I will say in your 14-team format, knowing that it's going to be a little bit harder to find running backs and wide receivers later on, I'm actually willing to go through and punt tight end in a 14-team league, whereas like in a 10-team league, you kind of have to go through and grab that tight end, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of going through and taking Waller there. But Clayton says, who are you taking at the 105 with the Kupp news after Jefferson, CMC, Chase, and Tyreek Hill? You either take Bijan or Kelsey. It depends if you think you're going to get running back guys later on. Go Kelsey if you think you can. Go Bijan if you think you can't. Yeah, I don't think you can take Cooper Kupp pick 5 anymore. I don't know if he's viable at 5. Hell, even in this underdog draft where wide receivers are worth a lot more, we still went ahead and we took Bijan Robinson in round 1 instead of Cooper Kupp. Okay. Let's move this around. So now quarterback, we have Allen. Running back, we have Bijan, Swift, Herbert. Wide receiver, we have Adams, Williams, Addison. Tight end, we have Hawkinson and Kittle. So we cannot go David Njoku. David Njoku goes 113 anyway, so he wasn't really, having to make us sit here and cry, because if Njoku would have made it to us at 115 and we couldn't have taken him, I would have been very upset about that. Okay, what is this team looking to do? They go Rasheed Rice, so we're actually going to take Anthony Richardson here. Get the elite level rushing upside. Obviously, in a league where you're submitting your starting lineup each and every week, you're not going to be taking Anthony Richardson after Josh Allen. You're not even going to be taking another quarterback after Allen at all. But given the rushing upside that we have from Anthony Richardson, I'm going to be willing to go ahead and pull the trigger on him, even though I'll say, yeah, it's probably a pretty gross spot in terms of the situation this next season, where this overall team, top to bottom, kind of looks like a debacle, if we're going to be honest. But Roy says, 10-team at PBR, pick 9. We start 3 wide receivers. My 6th-round pick is my keeper next year. So do you think we'll break out this year at the 602? Oh, that's a very interesting setup, my man. If we're going to be looking at guys that we can go in round 6 and possibly, want them as a cheap keeper option next season, if we can get Hawkinson there, I would absolutely love that. If we go Dameon Pierce, I think that would be an interesting call. If you wanted to grab like a quarterback like Lawrence, I think that could be nice as well. Or if Kenneth Walker were to fall to you, I think those are a couple interesting names, my friend. Hopefully this draft's able to help you out. Scout says 10-team league where we only have 1 flex. At the 105, we got Allen, Pollard, Aaron Jones, Metcalf, Hopkins, Kelsey, Christian Watson. And then on the bench, we have Gibson, Javonte. This is literally the perfect team. And a 10-team league with only 1 flex, go through and grab Allen and Kelsey as the bookends. Focusing on running back, wide receiver, upside down there on the bench. That is the perfect setup, perfect team. Love it, my friend. And we are about to hit 500 likes in this live stream. Go down there, hit that like button. Let's get this bad boy to 1,000 likes before we're done with this draft and before we hop into our next $350 draft, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we are only running back, wide receiver through the next, I believe we have 8 more rounds. So the next 8 rounds, we are only taking RBs and wide receivers. Have a couple different players that I have in mind here. 126 of one guy that I'd really like, but hopefully we get a couple quarterbacks or tight ends off the board soon. Mostert goes 122, obviously a big time riser with the Jeff Wilson news. Plus, Jonathan Taylor not getting dealt yesterday. Jeremy says, have BBR where we have Watson, Dillon, Lamb, Walker, CMC, Higgins, Njoku, Sanders, Swift, London on the bench. Great team. If we could trade, say, David Njoku and like Drake London and get like an elite level tight end such as TJ Hawkinson, I think that'd be interesting. Okay, what is this team doing here? They're taking it all the way down. They go Tyler Boyd. It would have been nice for us to have Tyler Boyd making it to us. Has this team been on auto the entire time? That team may be on auto draft. Hopefully they auto a quarterback soon or a tight end soon. Just position we don't want. Now, Scorpion on the clock. What are they deciding to do? They go Lazard, literally perfect for us. Oh my gosh. This is exactly what we are wanting. We get Jamal Williams 126. If you're looking at Jamal Williams, you have to give the man a bump up considering the report that we have with Kondre Miller. Kondre Miller now dealing with the hamstring injury, and that it looks like Jamal Williams is going to be out there as the only running back in New Orleans through the first 3 weeks. I mean, it delays the eventual development that you have with Miller. I love Jamal there, 126. Fuego says, hey, Mason, in a 12-team format where we only have one flex, do you go with 2 elite level running backs to the 1-2 turn or a running back wide receiver? If you have 2 elite level running backs fall to you and it's a league where you can only start 3 wide receivers at the very most, then in that kind of format, I do kind of want to go running back out the gate. But Neil says 7th pick in a league with 2 flexes. Was targeting Kupp, but now after Jefferson, Chase, CMC, Hill, Bijan, who are we looking at? I think you have to go Kelsey over Kupp now. I kind of like Chubb, Diggs, Barkley now. I think that with those players, there's a tiny chance that they would actually be able to make it back to you. I think you go Kelsey and see if you have any of those options you really like making it back. Okay. But Jordan Love off the board, 131. But A-Rod says, happy BR from the 101. We have Tua, Daniel Jones, quarterback, fine with that. Running back, we have Gibbs, Hall, Sanders, Gibson, Bigsby. Tough at the beginning of the year, upside at the end. We have Jefferson, Waddle, Pittman, Mooney, Jameson. Tight end, we have Pitts. What are your thoughts? I like it. I wouldn't roster Jameson, especially if we already have the upside alongside, the running back position at the very end of the year, and we're going to struggle at the beginning. I'd rather have someone that can make an impact for us immediately. Unless you can throw Jameson Williams on the IR. The issue is with Jameson Williams, he's going to severely handicap the moves that you can make off the waiver wire early on in the offseason. Early on in the season. Okay, so that team goes Rodgers there. The team took 6 running backs, which is very interesting to see. We are only running back wide receiver here, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see what we're going to get at 139. We have 4 running backs already. Our running backs are Bijan, Swift, Khalil Herbert, Jamal Williams. Wide receiver, we only have Adams, Mike Williams, and Jordan Addison. Elijah Mitchell off the board, 136. You have Jacoby Myers going 137. Generally, we don't really want to take a running back here if we don't have to, right? So with Hyatt going, I think we are just going to lock in Darnell Mooney. I'm not a big Darnell Mooney guy. We already do make a bet on the Chicago Bears offense, though, by taking Khalil Herbert. So I think possibly it does make some sense to go ahead and pull the trigger on Darnell Mooney here. We just definitely need a wide receiver. He's the wide receiver that falls furthest past ADP. So let's pull the trigger on him at 139. Russ goes immediately after. We want to see as many of these quarterbacks and tight ends get drafted as possible. Hopefully, this team that's on the clock now is going to auto-draft a QB. No, they're going to auto-draft Dalton Schultz, which I'm fine with. But with this team being on auto, they already have Burrow and Lawrence. It would be really nice if we saw them go through and auto-draft a couple more quarterbacks and just push these guys up the board. Okay, when we already have Allen and Richardson, we're not taking a third. But Jonathan says 10-team PBR league with the 10th pick. We have Lawrence, Bijan, Gibbs, Diggs, Olave, Goddard, Watson, Jason, and Judy on the bench. Should I wait for them? Yeah, you got to wait for them. They are going to handicap you for making trades at the beginning of the year, but they have the upside we're looking for later in the season. Ian says, hey, Mason, use promo code FLOCK and have yet to see the Josh Allen pick'em. Yeah, so if you're on Underdog right now and you used promo code FLOCK, the Patrick Mahomes pick'em is going to be live in your app right now. The reason being is with the Patrick Mahomes pick'em, it's available for everybody on Underdog Fantasy, regardless if they use code FLOCK or not. But the Josh Allen pick'em is not going to be showing up until Sunday morning for you because this is exclusive for only Flock users. So they have to manually run it Sunday morning for only people who use promo code FLOCK on Underdog. And I don't know when the mystery pick'em shows up if y'all sign up to Underdog right now, but the mystery one is only going to be for people that are new to Underdog Fantasy, not if you signed up to Underdog with promo code FLOCK a year ago. The other two you have regardless of when you signed up to Underdog. But Zub Slayer says, hello, should I trade Kareem Hunt for Devon A-Chain? Honestly, I would. Hell yeah. With Jeff Wilson going on the IR, I think you kind of have to. But this does really stress the fact that you may be in a spot where we see Miami go out there and grab an RB because they just kind of have to, right? I mean, it'd be crazy if they don't. Now, Brock Purdy off the board at 145. Komet goes 146. Perfect for us, ladies and gentlemen. We are only looking at running back, wide receiver, of course. This team's going to auto Kenneth Gainwell, which I'm kind of fine with. We don't necessarily need to see a running back make it to us. I mean, we're already pretty damn strong at RB. But Ryan says, I'm in a $200 auction league. Should I keep Kupp 35 or Olave at 13 now that the Kupp injury is unknown? We also have Chase at 26. So it'd be Kupp. Honestly, it's such a small percentage of your overall budget. I'm still going to go Kupp at 35. Like the $22 difference is about like an 11% allocation in your budget. I'm going to go Kupp, my friend. Van Jefferson off the board. I was actually hoping that we were going to get Van Jefferson on the way back around with the Kupp news. James says, Deontay at the flex, little worried. Him or Deion Jackson week 1? Oh, definitely Deontay. You have no idea what the situation is going to be like when it comes to. Okay, the thing is, if we were to go through and take Ezekiel Elliott here, we are just putting ourselves in such a hole at wide receiver. But to be honest with you, looking at the running backs later on, you can't draft Jeff Wilson now. You can't draft Kendre Miller now. You can't draft Zamir White with Jacobs being back. So really the only draftable running backs after Ezekiel Elliott are Roshan Johnson, Tajee Spears, Devin Singletary. You only have 3 draftable RBs. You don't even know if these guys are going to make it back around to us. So let's go ahead. Let's pull the trigger on Zeke. And let's see how this works. But Ty says, Aloha Mason, 10-team PPR, where we can start up to 5 wide receivers. So 100% we need to be pushing up wide receivers here, my friend. But what should my draft strategy be? Keeping in mind, I want to be flexible. When should I take my first RB? Obviously, it depends on the value that falls. If Bijan Robinson falls to a Big 12, you still go Bijan Robinson. But overwhelmingly, I think the main strategy that you need to have is you want to be pushing down tight end a bit because they're going to make up a smaller percentage of your starting lineup output overall. And you want to be firing up as many middle round wide receiver values as you can get. Okay. So rigor mortis asking to trade Cooper Kupp for Amon-Ra St. Brown straight up. No, you can't do that. I mean, still in this $350 draft, someone decided to go through and take Cooper Kupp at 8. Amon-Ra St. Brown went at 14, my friend. We're 1 like away from hitting 600 likes on the stream. Please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. We're going to be firing up another $350 draft after this, ladies and gentlemen. Margaret says the haircut's looking fire. Thank you, my man. Does that look like I got a haircut? Yep. Well, let me know in the live chat. Does it look like I got a haircut? I did not, but always going to appreciate it. YouTube's #1 pick for certified stud at the streamer position. Well, thank you, my man. I mean, very few of us are 6'8", 280, pure muscle. So, I mean, it's not even really a competition, right? Okay. Now, we have Roshan going 156, Tajee Spears going 158. So, yeah, if you're looking at the options that we would have had when it comes to running backs on the way back around, now that Jeff Wilson, Kendre Miller really aren't too exciting, I definitely think our decision to go through and take Ezekiel Elliott was the correct one. Sam Howell off the board 161. You assume that this team probably goes ahead and takes Gerald Everett. They have Justin Herbert. They only have 1 tight end. Gerald Everett makes past ADP, and they go Musgrave, so they must really not like Everett. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take Jaden Reed. I think Reed's going to be appealing for a couple different reasons. One, I mean, this is a player that was a decent prospect, right? And 2, if you're going to look at Jaden Reed, I mean, right now, the Romeo Doubs injury is actually kind of up in the air where you don't really know what to expect with his availability week 1. So that may end up opening the door for Jaden Reed. I don't necessarily think Romeo Doubs is a great player in the first place. So we just kind of need to be taking swings on wide receivers at this point in the draft. I think Reed does make a lot of sense for us to swing on. Adam says in a super flex league where we also have 2 flexes, we have Geno Russ, Bijan, Pierce, Gibson, Mitchell, Chase, Kupp, Deontay, JSN, Collins, Burks. We have a couple tight ends here. If we're only rostering 4 running backs, while I do like these RBs, I would drop our backup tight end, pick him another RB off the waiver wire. Interesting team that we go so elite at wide receiver, but we're really just hoping that we get a Geno and Russ breakout. I mean, Russ is just going to be in such a tough spot with all the injuries that we've seen in Denver, right? I mean, I feel like Russ is being set up to fail just given the fact that, I mean, you have Patrick already out for the season. And obviously, we don't really know what the situation's going to be like when it comes to Jerry Jeudy. Swing this back around. So read 163. And what are we doing after this? Okay, Shawnee, where are you going, my friend? Curtis Samuel. So we're still running back wide receiver through the rest of this draft. Curtis Samuel. What did the auto draft team do? The auto draft team ended up taking Jeff Wilson. If they're going to auto again, right now the best guy is Rondale Moore. So we're not going to get Rondale Moore no matter what, making him back to us. Hopefully someone goes Rondale Moore in that case before this guy, and this guy ends up auto drafting Condre Miller with the hamstring. And I don't mean to be an ass, but this is a $350 league, ladies and gentlemen. And if you don't show up to the draft, I'm going to be brutal, okay? Now, Ollie says in a 14-team league with one flex spot, we went Bijan, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Etienne, Lawrence, Watson, Kirk, Pittman, Algier, Warren, Mims, Komet. 100%. 14-team league. We want to punt tight end, focus on running back, wide receiver out the gate, stay balanced. Love the squad. Love it. I'm surprised you got Etienne round 3. Okay, so this team is going to get, I want to say kind of lucky and get to auto draft Rondale Moore. I was hoping that they were going to auto draft Condre Miller, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Now, Ant says 12-team PPR with one flex where you have Watson, CMC, Jacobs, St. Brown, Hopkins, Hawkinson, Miles Sanders. And then on the bench, we have Sky Moore, Ryan Robinson, Jarrett McKinnon, Rondale Moore, Nico Collins, Bateman, Roshan. I think Rondale Moore is honestly someone that we should just go ahead and cut, especially in a league with only one flex. I really like the team overall. If we could cut Rondale, pick up a running back that we like with upside, and also maybe take a small 2-for-1 deal and get an upgrade from DeAndre Hopkins to Amari Cooper to get that, stacked there specifically with Deshaun Watson. I think that would make a lot of sense. But obviously elite level running backs there holding down the fort. Now we're going to go ahead. We're going to take DJ Chark. We're just essentially taking a swing on a wide receiver that we think we could get a couple random spike weeks from, right? That's the name of the game at this point of the draft. So now running back, we're rolling with Bijan Robinson, DeAndre Swift, Khalil Herbert, Jamal Williams. Wide receiver, we have Devontae Adams, Mike Williams, Jordan Addison, Darnell Mooney, Jaden Reed, DJ Chark. We have the elite level quarterbacks with Allen and Anthony Richardson. We have the very solid tight ends with TJ Hawkinson and George Kittle. So definitely the weak spot on our roster is going to be wide receiver. But overall, if you're going to want a weak spot on your team, specifically in these high stakes underdog tournaments where, you're not necessarily shooting for the absolute nuts in weeks 15, 16, 17, you are a little bit more inclined to go ahead and see if we can push it a little bit at wide receiver. Best Ball Mania, it's a lot tougher to get away with this, but here in this kind of tournament, something we'd like to do. Now we have Deuce Vaughn, Deion Jackson, Condre Miller all at the board here after we take Chark. Justin says, happy BR 10-team league with only one flex. Chase is our keeper. I pick at 3, rank these guys: Kelsey, Bijan, Chubb, Barkley, Diggs. I'd go Kelsey, Bijan, Barkley, Chubb, then Diggs. 10-team league with only one flex, especially as we have Chase as a keeper. Generally, you're going to have, very easy wide receiver values to draft later on. Okay. But we're actually going to probably draft around 16 and 17 here, considering the fact it's a $350 draft. I don't want to leave this too early. But then after that, we will go ahead and we'll get into another $350 draft, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move this down. This team only has 3 running backs. You assume they have to go ahead and pull the trigger on an RB, right? Which they do. They go Zamir White. Deontay Foreman practicing this week, blah, blah, blah. I'm probably going to take a 6th RB, but if we have a wide receiver that makes it to us, probably need to pull the trigger. See what Mike decides to do here. He goes with he goes with Elijah Cooks. Now, I kind of pride myself based off our dynasty background of kind of knowing every wide receiver, running back, tight ends, quarterback in the NFL. I will be willing to say I did not know who Elijah Cooks was. I don't know if I've seen Elijah Cooks get drafted all offseason. Was there news today regarding Elijah Cooks, ladies and gentlemen? Is this something that I'm having to all of a sudden find out about? So we're going to go ahead. We will take Shaheed here. So, I mean, I don't necessarily know Shaheed's going to be the good. Don't love the guy, but we just need to take swings on wide receivers. Sam Wise says, hard to get Elijah Cooks in the 17th these days, so I get it. I mean, yeah, there's no way that guy makes it back to you, right? I mean, I would have taken Elijah Cooks at 187 if he would have been there for us. Okay. Now, League is Bad says, pick one in a 10-team league with one flex, one super flex. Do I go Mahomes to 2 wide receivers first time doing super flex? We do start 3 wide receivers. I think we go Mahomes and stay flexible. Like, if all of a sudden you go Mahomes and you have the ability to go like Lamar there at the 2-3 turn, you may end up going with quarterback there. I don't want to be mapping out anything that we're doing after round 1. Pick one, I probably do go with either Hurts or Mahomes, whoever your number 1 guy is. Okay. But Zach Moss off for still just running back wide receiver. Remy says, hey Mason, 10th pick in a 12-team app PBR league with 3 wide receivers and a flex. 2 RBs, pick Saquon, then Garrett Wilson at 15, or Lamb and then try to get Pot. I would go Saquon and then see if we can get Garrett Wilson or possibly even CeeDee Lamb on the way back around round 2, my friend. There have been a lot of drafts I've been seeing CeeDee Lamb fall to the 2nd round. Okay. Clyde Edwards-Helaire off the board, 193. I know who we want in round 18. So I think that is going to kind of impact our decision on who we take here at 198 because the guy that we want in round 18, we're going to get literally no matter what. Deonta Foreman goes. Honestly, I wanted Deonta Foreman. It is what it is. The Wolf of Ball Street is now going to auto draft Devontae Parker, which we're fine with. And FaZe Monkey says 12-team PBR dual flex. Hurts, CMC, Mixon, JT, Kirk, Hollywood, Kittle, Brandon Cooks, Johnston, Kincaid, Penny, Algier, Bateman. Should I trade or sit tight? I really like the team. I think you really just have to sit tight and see what we get with Jonathan Taylor. It's going to come down to does Taylor come back week 5? And how good is Taylor if he does come back? Okay, Dawson Knox goes. Scorpion on the clock. What do they decide to do? This is the Mahomes-Kelsey team, so you'd imagine, of course I don't know, they possibly decide to go Justin Ross here. Now, personally, I don't know if I drafted Justin Ross a single time all offseason, but they don't. We'll take Jerome Ford. I have very little Jerome Ford this year, but at the end of the day, right now he is the running back 2 in Cleveland. He is back and healthy, and I'll let y'all know who we end up taking in round 18, ladies and gentlemen, but let's go ahead and let's get into our next draft here. It's going to be another $350 draft on Underdog. Now, if you're new to Underdog, please don't be getting into $350 drafts. Go get in a $5 draft. Go get in a $3 draft. Have some practice. Have some fun. But, I mean, I personally am just excited for this season. And obviously sponsored by Underdog Fantasy, where we are able to afford to go ahead and get into these $350 drafts. So we have 1 spot open in this draft room if anybody wants to come out here and take our money. And we are also 1 like away from hitting 700 likes on this live stream. So please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this stream. Be our 700th like. We are going to be pick 4, so we don't even have to consider taking Cooper Kupp here or not. Obviously, Kupp is a pass. And just in case you don't know what we're doing here, we're drafting on Underdog Fantasy. It's where we draft every single day. I mean, we haven't missed a day in 125 days, not missing a day until 2024. And if you sign up to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com. And with promo code FLOCK, literally have never seen anything like this before. But site-wide, Underdog is a special week 1 more than less than half a total yard against the Detroit Lions. On top of this, only with promo code FLOCK are you also going to get Josh Allen more than less than half a passing yard against the Jets on Monday night. And that's going to be for anybody who signed up to Underdog with code FLOCK today, tomorrow, the next day, 2 years ago. But this is only going to be for new people. So I am sorry if you signed up a year ago, you're not going to be able to take advantage of this. But Underdog will have a new mystery pick'em special week 1 as well for anybody who signs up before week 1. So please, we're going to get 3 special pick'ems on top of a 100% deposit match and all of our rankings in the whole 9 yards. Make sure y'all are taking advantage of that, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Tyreek Hill. I've taken Tyreek Hill, pick 4 all offseason. So, I mean, we have pretty much the basic start, pretty much the easy start. There's just no reason for me to go through and consider Kupp. There never has been. And I didn't even notice, but Versaire out here in this draft with us. Not only are we drafting with Versaire, but we have to draft next to him at pick 5. Oh, that is brutal. But WM says 12-team, 1-point PPR must start 3 wide receivers. Pick 4, CMC Oh, you won the league. The $100,000 tournament I won on Underdog last year, I started off CMC AJ Brown. Jalen Waddle round 3, Ridley Sanders. Oh my gosh. My man, that is awesome. I'm super pumped for you. Wesley says 12 pick in a 14-team league went Chubb, Mahomes, Hopkins, Hawkinson, McLaurin, Pacheco, Cooks, Brian Robinson, Charbonnet, Nico Collins. Thoughts and should we trade in one? 14-team league. This is actually pretty damn good. I just definitely want to make sure that we are trying to optimize for wide receiver, running back, upside down there on the bench. Harder to make a 2-for-1 deal in a 14-team league in particular, just because depth will be a little bit harder to come by and the waiver wire options will be a little bit worse. Vega says, in that 12-team 1-flex league, would you take Pollard, Jacobs at the 1-2 turn? If Barkley's there, I'd take him over Pollard or Jacobs on wide receiver. If you could go like a Barkley and Jacobs in a league with only 1 flex spot, I would do it. Obviously, league with 2 flex spots, then definitely wide receivers more in play. Trailer Park Boys, long time member of the flock, saying, do I want the 1st, 3rd, or 8th pick? I definitely think you want a top 5 pick. I'm going to go with either 1st or 3rd. Comes down to, do you want Jefferson or do you want to take like CMC or Kelsey? Arthur says, 10-team PPR 1 flex. We have Burrow, JT, Madison, Connor, Dobbins, Jefferson, Amon-Ra, Olave, Pitts. Should I make any moves? I just want to make sure we are rostering as many running backs as possible down there on the bench. Like, don't be rostering guys like Deontay. If you have like Deontay Johnson down there on the bench, you got to go ahead and sell him. In a league where we can only start 3 wide receivers the most, you're literally never going to get any of those depth guys in. Having Jefferson, St. Brown, and Olave, I would love to get an upgraded running back if we can afford it. Now, in this draft, Cooper Kupp makes it to pick 10, ladies and gentlemen. This is officially the furthest I have ever seen Cooper Kupp fall in one of these drafts. I'm not going to blame anybody for going through and taking, I mean, I don't know what to do with Kupp. Like I said, I was at pick 6 in the last draft. Before the news of the setback, I would have gone through and I would have taken Cooper Kupp at 6. But with the news, instead, I took Bijan Robinson. But Colton says 14-team PPR. We have Kirk, Etienne, Brees, Kupp, Amari, Goddard, Hopkins. And then on the bench, Boyd, Dillon, Damian, Stafford, Burks, Everett, Patterson. Been a fan for years. Thank you so much, my friend. I'm fine with us rostering a backup tight end, backup quarterback in a 14-team league where we didn't go elite at either position. 100% agree. We're going to focus in on wide receiver, running back early on in a 14-team draft. I really like it. I'm trying to think of anything we can do. If we ever get a sell-high moment, like where we can pivot from like Treylon Burks to, say, Jordan Addison, if Addison starts off slow, I would be interested in that considering the fact that we have Cousins there. Now, Derrick Henry goes off at 18. We have Jalen Waddle go at 19. Sadly, we're not going to be able to get the Waddle and Tyreek stack, but we are going to be able to pair up Olave with Tyreek Hill. Obviously, I'll know I really like getting an elite level quarterback here at the 2-3 turn, both in underdog drafts as well as just, I mean, pretty much any league, right? I'm fine in your regular redraft league. You going through and pulling the trigger on an elite level quarterback there at the 2-3 turn. But if we are looking at who is available, you have Hurts, Mahomes, and Josh Allen. So there's a pretty good shot we get one of these quarterbacks on the way back around at pick 28. We'll see. We'll see. Of course, I could always be wrong. And some guy named Im coming out says, in a league with up to 5 wide receivers starting, we were the 12th pick. We went Eckler, Diggs. Yeah, 12. You got to take Eckler. Najee, Richardson. Are you talking Anthony Richardson? DK, Keenan Allen, Lockett, Judy, Ingram, Daniel Jones. Can everybody spam the chat? Who is the Richardson I'm not thinking of? And sadly, we are not going to get an elite level quarterback, which we typically always look for here at the turn. It is what it is. Higgins goes. We'll go ahead and we'll take DK Metcalf. It's an underdog draft. We'll be able to find running back values later. JSN did get it. It's a very tough spot to be in, though. It used to be easy. Round 3, we used to go, okay, we're either taking an elite level quarterback, Josh Jacobs, or Jonathan Taylor. We're swinging for the fences. Obviously, now we can no longer take Josh Jacobs round 3. While at the same time, I mean, you'd have to be a madman to take Jonathan Taylor. Oh, that puts us in a brutal spot. I don't know what to think, ladies and gentlemen. Not excited about that. A little bit of painful spot of live streaming. Tell people exactly what you want. But, I mean, there's always always a chance that all those quarterbacks are going to go anyway, right? We could set ourselves up going like Mike Williams, 45, and then Justin Herbert, 52. But another painful situation is we don't get T. Higgins falling to us at 28. If we had Higgins at 28, it would have been easy to take Burrow at 52. Now we don't really know if we want to be taking Joe Burrow. Andrew coming out says 12-team full PPR where we have 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, 2 flexes. We have Daniel Jones, Barkley, Henry, Gibbs, Kamara. Beautiful spot to have Kamara as an RB4. Evans, Sutton, Dotson, tight end Komet, traded Mixon, Waller to a team that lost Taylor for Diggs. I think it makes sense. Thoughts if I need to package players for someone? I actually don't think so. I think you've already done that, my friend. Making that 1-2-for-1 deal, you've already put yourself in a great situation. I think what's probably going to happen is Sutton and Dotson are going to start off strong based off the injuries to both McLaurin and Jerry Jeudy as well. I think once we get them starting off strong, and then at that point, Alvin Kamara coming back from the suspension, if like week 4, we can go through and package together like Dotson and Alvin Kamara and get an upgrade at wide receiver then, I think that could be interesting, but not necessarily something that we're having to think about right now. I think that was a great move, my friend, and really do like the team. Okay. But let's see what these teams ahead of us are going to do. Kenneth Walker off the board, 43. Versailles, no wide receiver, so you assume they go ahead and pull the trigger on a wide receiver, which they do with DeAndre Hopkins. We're going to go ahead. We will take Najee Harris as our RB1, 45. I mean, I haven't drafted much Najee this offseason just because we had Travis Etienne ranked ahead of him, and Najee Harris used to go before Travis Etienne. But now Najee falling to the 4-5 turn, I mean, from what I've seen, it seems like it's primarily based off of just what you had with Jalen Warren's preseason performance. And I don't necessarily think that Najee Harris should be falling that much due to that. So, I don't know. We'll go ahead and pull the trigger. Justin says in an 8-team league, exactly what we need to see. Mahomes and Kelsey. 8-team leagues, everybody's going to be strong at running back, wide receiver. We have Gibbs, CeeDee Lamb, Devonta Smith, Mixon, Aaron Jones, Christian Watson, Jonathan Taylor, Pittman, Hollywood, Jordan Addison, Cleo. Literally the perfect setup. This is what I would recommend everybody to do in an 8-team league or a 10-team league with only 1 flex spot. Get Kelsey, get an elite level quarterback, and just roster as many wide receiver running backs as you can. And Chase says, I have picked 10. What should my general strategy be in a 10-team league with only 1 flex? If you have Kelsey fall to you, go Kelsey. If you don't have Kelsey, then I'm going to look to go RB if it's a 10-team league with 1 flex, because you're going to get super strong wide receiver values later on. And then on top of that, I would be looking to go with, say, like Lamar and Andrews if we can at the 3-4 turn. Hawkinson goes 49, which is a little upsetting. I'll know generally I take a lot of TJ Hawkinson here. We may be going with an unstacked elite level quarterback. We may be taking either Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert here, ladies and gentlemen, just because the opportunity cost in comparison to these guys like Deontay Johnson, Christian Kirk. Like the elite level quarterback's clearly the best pick. It's also going to be a smaller field tournament, so not having the stacks not going to be the end of the world, even if it's still something that we want. We will go ahead and we'll take an unstacked Joe Burrow, and we'll see if we can get Tyler Boyd. We'll see if we can get Irv Smith Jr. later on, because we're live streaming. Probably not, but we'll see. You never know. See, you never know. Let's move this over. And Conjur's longtime member of the flock says, hey, Mason, just finished drafting our 12-team league with two flex spots. Started off Dak, Lamb, St. Brown, Watson, Mike Williams, Ramondre Gibbs, Ingram. And then on the bench, we have Goff, Herbert, Bigsby, Juju, Greg, Dulcich. What are your thoughts? I'm sorry. I'm trying to think here. I think we're fine rostering 2 tight ends if Evan Ingram's going to be our first guy. In terms of rostering 2 quarterbacks, it's not advantageous, especially if we were already rostering 2 tight ends. I would say at that point, we are going to go ahead and most likely drop either one of the tight ends or one of the quarterbacks. I think that's what we're going to have to do, my friend. I mean, if we can go through and, I don't know. I mean, we're strong at running back, wide receiver. I'll probably drop the backup tight end. Pick up another running back off the waiver. I don't want to be allocating 4 roster spots to quarterback, tight end, especially in a league where you have 2 flexes where depth's going to matter a little bit more at the other positions. That's just my overall thought process, my friend. Okay, so Dobbins going at 59. Really hope we can get Boyd and Irv Smith Jr. Let's see. Kittle goes 60. In that other $500 draft that I was mentioning, I believe we actually took George Kittle at 69, or maybe we took him at 68. Maybe 67. I don't know. Let me pull up that other draft. In that other draft, did I take Cooper Kupp? For the love of God, tell me I didn't have Kupp a couple days ago. Of course, in that other draft, we started off Cooper Kupp, pick 6. This was like a week ago. Oh, RIP that team. I didn't even realize. JSN off 62 here. Let's move this over. How far does Jonathan Taylor fall, ladies and gentlemen? I definitely would be more excited about drafting Jonathan Taylor in Best Ball Mania, where you are really trying to optimize for weeks 15, 16, 17. And on top of that, at the end of the day, a lot of other teams took Jonathan Taylor super early in Best Ball Mania, so you are getting the ADP value. Whereas here in this new tournament that at the same time, you're just chasing the higher median projection. I don't know if Taylor is as appealing for a couple of those different reasons. But Liam coming out in a 12-team PPR format with only 1 flex. We have Allen, Fields. Oh, definitely sell Fields. Mixon, Chubb, Madison, Stevenson, Connor. How do we have this much value? It's a ridiculous team, my man. The only thing I'd say is if we get back together like Justin Fields, Joe Mixon for an elite level running back, or I don't even know what we do with that team. That is obnoxious. It's a great team. Now, Taylor does eventually go at pick 66 here. Apathy on the clock. Dotson and McLaurin both off the board. We're actually going to take Miles Sanders over Gabe Davis. I would take Gabe Davis if I was the Josh Allen team here, but I feel like a big reason why Gabe Davis' ADP is where it is because the Josh Allen team typically always takes him. Dre says, who would you bench week 1? Herbert, Pierce, or Jamal? I think you have to bench Khalil Herbert out of these guys. There's no way in hell you can bench Jamal Williams now, especially that you have the Kondre Miller injury, right? Aaron coming out with the donation. Thank you, my friend. NFL Blitz goes Cam Akers over Gabe Davis. And Aaron says, in a league with only 1 running back, 2 flexes, should we double tap the wide receiver position at the 1-2 turn? Hell yeah. If it's a league where you only have to start 1 running back, assuming it's a full PBR, definitely need to be going wide receiver. So Gabe Davis off the board at 73. Kyle Pitts goes 74. Y'all know I am not afraid to go through and pull the trigger on Kyle Pitts in round 7. Okay. Cam the Ham on the clock. What are you doing here, my friend? Going Zay Flowers. We'll take Hollywood. Hollywood's been falling just because everybody's realized, oh crap, this Arizona Cardinals team is going to be the worst team in the NFL. Do we want a single option on this rush? Probably not. Probably don't want anybody. But at the end of the day, we're getting him as a wide receiver 4. By far and away the cheapest guy. So yeah, let's go with Hollywood here, 76. And we are 1 like away from hitting 800 likes on this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. So please, if you have not done so already, everybody go down there, drop a like, BR800 like. Let's get this to 1,000 likes, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do another $350 draft after this one. And of course, if you want to get in our next draft, don't recommend you getting in a $350 one with us, but definitely would recommend you go and checking out like the $3, $5 drafts that they have out on Underdog Fantasy. I mean, we're drafting there every single night on this live stream. And if you sign up with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you're going to get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And also, I've never seen this before, but site-wide, they have the Patrick Mahomes special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard against the Detroit Lions week 1. Also, only with promo code FLOCK are you going to get on top of this the Josh Allen more than less than half a passing yard total pick'em Monday night against the Jets. And this is where it gets freaking wild. If you are a new member to Underdog Fantasy, this is only going to be for new members though. You're going to get an additional mystery pick'em on top of those 2 other ones week 1. So please make sure y'all are taking advantage of that. Literally never seen anything like that before. Okay. Let's move this over. Cindy coming out says 10-team at PBR double flex pick 5. Eckler, Bijan, or Tyreek. I kind of go Bijan here. 10-team league, happy BR. And Garrett Wilson, Tyreek, and Pollard or Eckler, Pollard. At 3, do we go with an elite quarterback or running? I'll go with an elite level quarterback in this format, playing on tight end in the 5th. So Eckler and Garrett Wilson, Tyreek and Pollard, or Eckler and Pollard. Probably go like Eckler. I go Eckler, Pollard in that format. If it's a 10-team league. Okay, so Watson off the board, pick 88. Sky Moore going 90. Let's swing this back around. Brandon Cooks off the board as well, so I guess we just go ahead and take Isaiah Pacheco. I mean, Isaiah Pacheco's quietly like won the offseason, right? I mean, obviously a running back that was dealing with an injury earlier on, but the Chiefs could have drafted someone they didn't. The Chiefs could have brought in Fournette, could have brought in Hunt, could have made a play for one of the other premium guys. They didn't. The only thing the Chiefs have really done this offseason at running back of significance has been re-signing Jerick McKinnon. So Isaiah Pacheco round 8 is honestly a price point that I'm completely fine with. And I whiffed on Pacheco last year. I thought there was no chance Pacheco was the guy. Caden says, in a league with 2 flex spots, 12-team at PBR, best strategy of my league mates dramatically push up running backs. I'm at pick 2, and I think CMC's going at 1. Hurts at 20. Yeah, I still go Jefferson, Jalen Hurts. And if you think that they dramatically push up running backs, I wouldn't mind if you went through and took ETN there at the beginning of the 3rd. Not ideal, but something we can do if we need to. Now, Ty says 8-team, 4-point passing touchdown, 6-point rushing touchdown, 2-quarterback league. How should I approach the draft of the first time in the league with this format? So 8-team league, you're still going to have more than enough to go around at the quarterback position overall. So still don't necessarily think that we need to go through and make dramatic changes on that front. With that being said, obviously, if we get an elite level quarterback early, we're definitely going to go ahead and do it. But 8-team league, deeper starting lineup. If you only have to start one running back, I'm going to be punting running back. I just probably don't look to go running back anytime soon there. Okay. But Dalvin off the board. What are we doing here? Evan Ingram goes. I think we may go Brian Robinson. I feel like we already have enough production at wide receiver. Kind of hoping some of these wide receivers fall, right? We're hoping that we get a discount Tyler Boyd to pair up with Burrow. So let's go ahead and let's get Brian Robinson. Similar to Pacheco, a running back that didn't have a role as a pass catcher year 1, but kind of wins the offseason. In the case of Brian Robinson, they don't bring in anybody. And at the same time, I mean, J.D. McKissic leaves. Brian Robinson has a role as a pass catcher in the preseason, which is surprising. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's take him pick 100. Okay. It's Raw Guy says, in your last QB video, you had Fields ahead, but then Burrow ahead on the website. Took Burrow. Should I trade him for Fields? Other team willing to do it. Depends. If it's going to be a 4-point passing touchdown format, we're going to go ahead and we are going to take Justin Fields. 6-point passing touchdown format, we're going to go Joe Burrow. So really does depend on your league format there, my friend. That's why we always say that out loud in the videos. But yeah, you'll see in the video that we just recorded tomorrow with our quarterback rankings that, I mean, maybe we have Burrow one spot ahead. I mean, but these guys are back-to-back. Really, it is up to your personal preference. Okay, so Daniel Jones off the board at 105. So we still need quarterbacks and tight ends, right? I mean, this is pretty much the exact opposite of a team than we took in the last time. Actually, we do have Joe Burrow. Never mind. I forgot that we grabbed Burrow here. So with this team right now, we are currently sitting at wide receiver with Tyreek, Olave, Metcalf, Hollywood. Running back, we have Najee, Sanders, Pacheco, Brian Robinson. And quarterback, we have an unstacked Joe Burrow. We're going to be looking at Tyler Boyd and Irv Smith Jr. later in this draft. And both guys have been falling considerably lately, as of late. Gage says 12-team PPR double flex. Lamar, Eckler, Pacheco, Wilson, DK, McLaurin, Pitts, Odell, Burks. What are your thoughts? I like the Lamar Odell stack just for the upside case. I mean, if Odell looks like buns early on, don't be afraid to cut him. I think it's a well-balanced team overall. I like Pitts, out of value. I feel like we don't know enough to be able to go through and make a trade here. Yeah, it really just comes down to, I mean, can Odell go out there and at least cover you at the beginning part of the year whenever you have the Terry McLaurin injury? Okay. So after we go Brian Robinson, you only have 2 more wide receivers going off the board here at 101, 103 with Rashad Bateman and Kadarius Toney. Romeo Doubs off 109. Swing this back around. If we're looking at any of these quarterbacks that could pair up with our guys, I mean, Cousins, no. Geno would pair up with Metcalf. Now, the question is, okay, never mind. We don't even get the ability to take Geno. He goes. He's going to look at the teams after us to see if they had any Seattle Seahawks. I didn't even notice, but Versailles gone has gone wide receiver heavy in the middle rounds here. Rodgers goes 113. Boyd goes 114. Sadly, we are not able to get Tyler Boyd making it back to us. Not going to fault anybody if they want to go ahead and take Tyler Boyd. I mean, this is kind of a flat tier wide receiver. Okay, what is this team doing? I feel like we have like a nasty tier. I don't want to say the guys that I would not take, just because it would be nice to have them go. But a couple players in my mind that I just would not take, would not be interested in. Nico Collins off the board, 115. Odell goes. I mean, if you look at the tiers, they're pretty good odds that we get a running back on the way back around. Wasn't really looking at Kincaid. The reason Kincaid's ADPs here is primarily the Josh Allen team takes him. I'm only going to take him if I have Allen in this range. So the same thing with Cousins. Usually the Hawkinson, Addison, or Jefferson team's going to take him. Don't have too much interest in here. But Praying Mantis says, hey, Mason, in a 10-team league where we have Hurts, Jefferson, Wilson, James Cook, Breece Hall, Darren Waller, Drake London, Jalen Warren, Dotson, Charbonnet, Laporta, Flowers, Hyatt. Big Giants fan here. Well, I am sorry to go through and say this, my man, but I actually probably would go ahead and cut Jalen Hyatt as the last spot just because I think if you're looking at like a running back that will give you clarity on a situation early in the offseason, it's going to be so much more appealing. The primary issue with Jalen Hyatt, right, is you don't expect him to do anything early on. I mean, maybe he can be a player that helps the Giants a lot in the long term with his speed. But the issue is from a fantasy football perspective, you don't expect anything immediately. So when he does nothing weeks 1, 2, and 3, and when we have an option that we want to pick up off the waiver wire, we're not really going to be able to pick him up because we're like, okay, can I cut this guy when Jalen Hyatt, we really haven't given him a fair shot? So he kind of just clogs the spot on your roster. While at the same time, I mean, he's not going to do anything early. I don't think he has an elite level ceiling from a fantasy football perspective year one. I think he can be a very good wide receiver for the Giants to create separation for Darren Waller and the slot guys underneath. I think you can find a running back that I like more off the waiver wire. Now, Jamal goes 122, which sucks. Jamal's who we wanted on the way back around. Surprised the Allen team didn't go ahead and take Dalton Kincaid here. Him the hand on the clock. What are they deciding to do? So, if we were to go Cousins, where is KJ Osborne going? Osborne, ADP 150. We have pick 148, so we could go KJ Osborne if we wanted. We go Cousins. We only draft 2 quarterbacks with Burrow and Cousins. Quarterbacks we'd be looking at later on include guys like Russ, Jared Goff. We look at any clear stacks. We don't really have any. Running backs, wide receivers aren't that exciting here, so we'll go ahead. We'll be one of the very few teams to not have the Cousins Jefferson or Cousins Addison or Cousins Hawkinson stack. I mean, generally, Puppy Draft, Best Ball Mania, you can't even think about doing it. But specifically here in this smaller field, higher stakes tournament, I think you can possibly get away with it. We're going to have to draft 3 tight ends with this team almost regardless. So I definitely want to be in a spot where we only have to take 2 quarterbacks. So let's pull the trigger. Scuba coming out says 12-team PPR, 1 quarterback, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex. We have Hurts, McLaurin, Dotson, CMC, Taylor, Madison, Andrews, Montgomery. Okay, great running back depth. Hell yeah. This is the kind of bench that I'm wanting to see overall, just slamming running backs here. That way, when you have the injury to Jonathan Taylor, it's not really going to impact you at the end of the day. We have the elite quarterback with Hurts. We have the elite tight end with Andrews. So, I mean, we are able to go through and just focus in on those bench spots with high upside running backs. Beautiful spot. Love to see it, my friend. Now, Myers goes 131. Now, when we have Burrow and Cousins, we're hoping to see quarterbacks off the board. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, just in case you're new here, these Underdog basketball drafts, not like your main, redraft league, right? Your main redraft league, obviously, you're never going to go through and take another quarterback after you take Joe Burrow, but you're especially not going to take one this early, but it does make a little bit of sense to do so here. Now, Felipe says 12-team PPR, 1 quarterback, 1 flex, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs. I have Fields, Etienne, Madison, Kupp, Adams, Komet, Watson in the flex. Bench is Penny, Bigsby, Devon Achane, Jonathan Mingo, Brown, and Addison. Devon Achane looks like he's in a great spot right now. I mean, trying to come up with any. I would probably roster 2 tight ends if Komet's our one guy. I don't know if Mingo is someone that we really care to have on the squad. Just because it's kind of the similar situation to Hyatt. It's going to be clogging your roster at the beginning of the year. We don't know if the upside's really there. At least with like Penny, we're going to get, to see what the usage is like early on. But I'd rather use that spot to make waiver wire moves early in the season. I'd probably just drop Mingo for a tight end if Cole Kmet's the only guy we have. Now, Higbee off the board at 139. Zeke goes, so we're going to get Dalton Schultz. We need a tight end, of course, right? We need a tight end. Schultz, not necessarily someone I think has a lot of talent, but at the end of the day, I think that he's in a situation where they're kind of going to have to give him targets. Osborne goes 142, so sadly, the guy with an ADP 150, not going to make it back around to us, but it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It is what it is. Smooth this over. Wide receiver, we have Tyreek, Olave, Metcalf, Hollywood, Juju Smith-Schuster. Running back, we're sitting with Najee, Sanders, Pacheco, Brian Robinson. Quarterback, we have Burrow and Cousins. Tight end, we have Dalton Schultz. Okay, so Van Jefferson goes 143. Van Jefferson would have been our backup play, wide receiver on the way back around 148. Obviously, we were planning on Osborne 148 if we could have. Algier goes. Adam Thielen has fallen a considerable amount here. You have Jonathan Mingo go. What's kind of funny is you've seen all the Carolina guys fall in ADP, despite like Chark just getting injured. So you'd assume, okay, Chark goes down. I guess Thielen, Mingo rise. But no, I mean, all these guys have fallen in lockstep. And ladies and gentlemen, we're about to hit 900 likes on this live stream. Please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on the live stream, and help us out, ladies and gentlemen. Be our 900 like of the stream. And Tony says, 10-team PPR, we have Allen. Running backs are Eckler, Gibbs, Dalvin, Singletary. Wide receivers are A.J. Brown, Amari, Mike Williams, Ayuk, Flowers, Gabe Davis, Quentin Johnson. Tight end, we have Goddard. I'm actually fine having like Quentin Johnson at the bottom end of this roster. I feel like we have enough running back depth. Great squad. Don't necessarily think we need to make any moves to say, in general, if we could package together like Ayuk, Mike Williams for a wide receiver upgrade, that'd be nice because it's a 10-team league where we're always trying to make 2-for-1 deals. It's not something we have to do, though. Okay. Now, I think we may actually pull the trigger on Roschon Johnson. Now, generally, I have been taking like tight ends in this range instead, but at the end of the day, going back to what we were talking about previously when we took Ezekiel in the last draft, in this range, it's about the last time where you can take a running back you kind of feel comfortable with. Now with the Condre Miller injury, you can't take Miller. With the Jeff Wilson injury, you can't take Jeff Wilson. So we kind of have to go ahead and get these guys here, right? We don't really have another option. But Dan says, Mason, I want to trade David Montgomery, DJ Moore to upgrade my running back 2. Any ideas? Also would like to upgrade my wide receiver 2 from Metcalf. Who are you thinking? We have Hurts, Jacobs, Montgomery, Pierce, Chase, DK, DJ Moore, London, Johnson, Waller. If we could trade Metcalf for Higgins, Devonta Smith, Chris Olave, I would do any of those deals. If we're looking to package together David Montgomery and DJ Moore for a running back, the tier that I'm going to be looking at is essentially anybody in round 3 or above in this underdog draft. I think you could throw Joe Mixon in there as well, but if you could go like Jahmyr Gibbs by trading away DJ Moore, David Montgomery, assuming it's a full PPR format. Obviously, if you go Jacobs, Henry, Nick Chubb, Pollard, that's going to be an easy call. I think like the Gibbs Ramondre range is going to be your target there, my friend. Okay. But let's move this down. Luke Musgrave goes 158. So we are going to be looking at this point to see if we can get Irv Smith Jr., ladies and gentlemen. Irv Smith Jr., ADP 175. So the plan would be to take him at 172. Unless we just have absolutely no values at all that we like at 165 and we're forced to go ahead and take him. Okay. But Carlos says, in a 14-team PPR league with 2 wide receivers, 2 flexes, keeper format, I have the 4th pick. A.J. Brown's my keeper for the 3rd round. It's looking like Chase will be my pick at 4th overall. That's beautiful. Especially in a 14-team league where you can start up to 4 wide receivers, full PPR. Going A.J. Brown, Jamar Chase is perfect. I think obviously round 2, we would like to stay flexible. We would like to look at an RB there. I think the onesie positions are going to matter a little bit less, just considering the fact that sorry, just give me a second. Let's go Greg Dulcich. Who the hell cares? Or do we go Chark? Actually, we're going to go Chark. We're going to go Chark. That way, it gives us a little bit of a better probability of getting Irv Smith Jr. on the way back around. But yeah, I think in that 14-team league, push down quarterback, push down tight end. I think you're going to be prioritizing running back there round 2. If you start off Jamar Chase, A.J. Brown. Okay. Now, Purdy, Jordan Love off the board. This is what we're wanting to see, right? We're wanting to see quarterbacks go. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be getting in another $350 draft after this one. Devin Singletary goes 168. Curtis Samuel off the board 169. Greg Dulcich will be our backup plan 172. Obviously not plan A, though. Okay. Irv Smith Jr. off the board there, 170. It is what it is. We'll go ahead and we'll get Greg Dulcich 172. Not the end of the world. And hopefully we find a tight end 3 that we're okay with. I mean, we can go like Hayden Hurst. Make that bet on the Carolina Panthers offense we've done with Miles Sanders and DJ Chark. But let me go ahead and show off this team, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be making 2 more selections and then bouncing in to the other $350 draft. And Keegan says 12 team happy BR, 3 wide receivers, 8 bench spots. I have Daniel Jones, Keenan Allen, Dotson, Sutton, Bijan, Jacobs, Waller, Gibbs. The bench is Hollywood, Mims, Kincaid, and all handcuffs. Messed up my first shot, but no, thank you so much. And I'll say generally, I don't want to be rostering that many handcuffs, right? Like if you're telling me we're handcuffing Bijan Robinson, Josh Jacobs, I mean, I don't know if you're handcuffing wide receivers. I want to say you can handcuff a player if you're getting them at a value, then sure, go ahead, do it. But if we go ahead and start reaching for handcuffs and say we handcuff every single player in our starting lineup, it just severely caps the overall upside that we have from a roster construction perspective. So I'm not a big fan of handcuffs. I'm completely fine rostering like Waller and Kincaid here if it's a league with 8 bench spots. I really like the combo Bijan Jacobs. Obviously, we should start off hot with the injuries to both McLaurin and Judy, bumping Sutton and Dotson. Really like the team early on. I think if Kincaid does break out, though, then at that point, we will be trying to trade Kincaid. I think we can roster him, though. Okay. Now we have Ty Chandler off the board, 181. Stafford goes 182. Swing this back around. Jeff Wilson's just straight up undraftable now, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot take Jeff Wilson. We are running back, wide receiver, tight end. I think we're going to go 1 more RB, 1 more wide receiver, and 1 more tight end. If you were in a puppy tournament, if you were in a Best Ball Mania tournament, make a strong argument that you don't want to take a 6th running back with this build. But specifically in these smaller fields, high stakes tournaments, especially if you look at the best players available right now, I'm going to be completely fine going through and taking an RB. Tyler Conklin off the board, 185. But Dan says, Hurts, Jacobs, Pierce, Montgomery, Dillon, Brian Robinson, Mostert, Chase, DK, London, Deontay, DK, Moore, Waller. Any moves you'd make? I'd like to upgrade Pierce or DK. I'm not big on DJ this year. Do you mean DJ? I would agree. I think that if you look across the hype that you've had in fantasy football, YouTube, Twitter, regardless of whatever it is, every single person and their mom is in love. And I repeat, in love with Deontay Johnson. If you could trade Deontay Johnson in a package, say with someone like Raheem Mostert, who may start off strong given the injury that you have to Jeff Wilson, and Devon A-Chain probably not being good to go, at least with a large role earlier in the season. I think that would be nice, but I do want to wait until you have a week or 2 where you get the spike from Mostert, and we can go ahead and get that upgrade at that point, my friend. I don't necessarily think we're going to be looking to trade Pierce or DK, though. Okay. Now, Gus Edwards, Deion Jackson off 191.91. We have Bryce Young, Hayden Hurst off the board as well. Okay. Let's make our selection. We're going to bounce to our $350 draft. See what NFL Blitz is doing here. Goes Paris Campbell. So, yeah, that team can't take another running back. They already have 6. We're going to go ahead. We will take Deonta Foreman as our 6th RB here. And then we will get a wide receiver in the last round that I'm thinking of. Not going to tell you all the name until we actually go ahead and draft him, though, because do not want to be sniped on that. But let's go ahead. Let's get into another underdog draft here, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be the Rottweiler $350 buy-in, $75,000 first place prize. There are 8 slots open in this draft if anybody's wanting to come out and draft with us. Here's your shot, and please, as we wait for this $350 draft to fill, ladies and gentlemen, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. Help us get to 1,000 likes. I mean, help us get this pumped out to hopefully fill this draft, because right now, I mean, it's going a little slow. But Dylan says Keenan, Deontay, Montgomery for Waddle and Pierce. 10-team league with double flexes. We have Chase, Watson, Bateman, Flowers. Other running backs are Mixon, Pollard. Oh, yeah. If we have this much talent, I think we're fine with it. You're getting an upgrade from Montgomery to Dameon Pierce, upgrade from Keenan Allen to Jalen Waddle, and just have to pay Deontay Johnson. Be different if it was like a 14-team format, but 10-team league, easy deal. Same as, should I trade Kupp for Barkley straight up or wait for, I don't know. Can everybody please spam the chat? Who would you rather have? Would you rather have Saquon Barkley or Cooper Kupp in a regular redraft format at this point? Saquon Barkley or Cooper Kupp, ladies and gentlemen. Kupp. Barkley, Kupp, Barkley. Jay, I did not see your question. I will go ahead and make sure I find that, my friend. I'm so sorry. Let me go ahead and find that for you right now. It looks like it is split. I mean, it is a tough spot in general, my friend. But I don't think we're going to be able to fill this $350 draft. I'm very sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I was hoping that we were going to be able to get 3 of these going. So just to let everybody know, I'm leaving this draft room. We're not going to do the $350 draft for the 3rd time tonight. Instead, we are going to go ahead and hop into Best Ball Mania. This is the $25 buy-in tournament on Underdog, the largest fantasy football tournament on the planet. It is a $15 million prize pool, $3 million for first place. Let's go ahead and let's get in here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get in this draft. And let's see if we can find Jay's question. Okay, hopefully those aren't from tonight okay, no. Oh, thank God. I was looking at the donation list. I was like, oh my gosh, did we miss this many? But those are from last night. Okay, we're at pick 4 again. Okay, thank God we don't have to take Tyreek Hill. I mean, just give me any selection where I'm not having to go through and take Tyreek. Okay, Jay, I'm very sorry. Yeah, looking at this, there was no donation in chat. Like, this is a list with every single one. Unless Google is lying to me, which I doubt it. Google, YouTube, obviously they know what they're doing. This isn't a little old startup here. I'm sorry. I guess it didn't go through. I don't know, my friend. I'm sorry. But let's see. Patel on the clock. See what they decide to do. One of my super close friends in college, last name was Patel. And Ignacio coming out says, 12-team league. We have Lawrence, Chubb, Mixon, Lamb, Devonta Smith, Darren Waller, Pittman. How does the team look and how should we try to make trades? I would generally trade Darren Waller for Hawkinson or Kittle if we can make that move. Outside of that, I really like the squad. I think it would make sense to maybe trade Devonta Smith for Calvin Ridley to make the consolidated bet on the Jacksonville Jaguars offense with Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. But I like it. Now, Jefferson Chase off the board. So are we going to get CMC or Tyreek Hill? Okay, so CMC off. So let's go ahead and let's take Tyreek Hill here at 4. Hopefully we're in a position where the 2-3 turn sets us up in a little bit of a better way than the last draft did. I think that's where we kind of struggled in the last one. But real quick, just in case y'all don't know what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen, we are drafting on Underdog Fantasy. Is where we draft every single night on the live stream. And of course, if you want to draft with us, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK is going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you're going to get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And on top of this, I've never seen it before, but check out what Underdog has. They literally have a site-wide special with Mahomes, more than less than half a total yard against the Lions week 1. Only with promo code FLOCK are you also going to get a line of Josh Allen more than less than half a passing yard against the Jets Monday night week 1. And then if you are new to Underdog Fantasy, you are also going to get an additional mystery pick'em special week 1. Obnoxious. 3 special pick'ems. Never seen anything close to it. I don't know if you've ever had 2 in 1 week, let alone 3. So please make sure you're taking advantage of that. Okay. Now moving over, keeping it real says 14 team, half PPR, one flex league. And oh dear God. Oh, 1 second. I forgot to queue up who we won in the last draft. Who did we get in that last draft? For the love of God, tell me it was a wide receiver. We autoed in the last draft. I don't even want to admit who we autoed. Oh, brutal. But 14 team at PPR one flex. Pick 7 is Hill, Allen, Ridley, Pierce, Connor, Ingram, JSN, Cooks, Jeff Wilson Jr., cut Jeff Wilson Jr., Singletary, Jets defense, Everett, what do we think? I'm fine rostering 2 tight ends here if this is our first tight end. I mean, Josh Allen, obviously, starting off pretty damn. I really like the team. We just have to cut Jeff Wilson Jr., find another running back that we like off the waiver wire. But yeah, great team considering it's a 14-team format. It looks like a 12-team league. Okay. Now, Derrick Henry off the board, 15 to pair up with Chubb. How far did Kupp fall? Kupp fell all the way down to 12. Dear God, ladies and gentlemen. Have you seen Cooper Kupp fall this far once this offseason? I will 100% take as much Cooper Kupp as I can at pick 12. Especially if it's a $25 buy-in, $3 million first place league. Give me all the Cooper Kupp at that price point. Just Sherman, long-time member of the Flock, says 12-team at PBR where we only have one flex. Allen, Wilson, Watson, Bijan, Walker, Ingram, Kamara, Charbonnet, Quentin Johnston, JSN, Elijah Mitchell, Odell, Tony, how's it looking? I really like the team, but after week 1, if we don't like the roll from Odell, Tony, be quick to go through, churn these guys through the waiver wire and see if we can get running backs available. Would be very interesting. And yeah, Jay, can you please send me an email and let me know what's going on? Because if I missed yours yesterday and it's the same thing today where it's not even showing up on my separate thing that's directly through YouTube. Please send me something about that. Now we're going to go ahead and we are going to take Chris Olave, pick 21 to pair up with Tyreek, just like we did the last draft, right? And also like we did the last draft, the reason we're doing this is none of the quarterbacks have been taken yet in either Mahomes, Allen, or Jalen Hurts. So naturally you assume that we're at least going to get one of these guys on the way back around at 28. Now, it didn't happen last time. We'll see if it happens this time. And Fusion says, hey Mason, drafting number 2 on a 10-team double flex league with hyper-competitive mates. Chase is our first pick. Any thoughts on the 2-3 turn? An elite level quarterback in a 10-team league, I think it's going to be a must. And I would stay flexible and probably look to go RB if we're going to go chasing like Hurts there in the first, second round. But also similar to if you're like in a spot that we are here on the turn. If at 2, none of the elite level quarterbacks have gone, take best running back available there in the second round. And then follow it up with an elite level quarterback there round 3. But Jacob says, just drafted a 10-team league where we have Bijan, A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, Kenneth Walker, Calvin Ridley, Andrews, London, Taylor, and Evans on the bench. What are you thinking? A team with a crap ton of upside starting Bijan, A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts. What's crazy about this team is this team's going to be fine even if Jonathan Taylor doesn't play. Team's going to be fine even if you don't have JT. Now, Ridley going off 24. And T. Higgins, hell yeah. So we're guaranteed to get an elite level quarterback here, ladies and gentlemen. This team took, that team went with Devonta Smith. So you were assuming that they were going to go Jalen Hurts. And so now we are going to get Patrick Mahomes paired up with Tyreek Hill, Chris Olave in the first 3 rounds. Let's freaking go. This team has started off Allen, CMC, so they pretty much can't take Mahomes. This is a beautiful spot. They go Andrews. We're going to go ahead and get Patrick Mahomes. The amount of teams that are going to be able to have this 3 combo in this overall tournament, slim to none. This is a team where we can turn 25 to 3 million, ladies and gentlemen. Let's freaking go. And we're also 1 like away from hitting 1,000 likes on this live stream. So be our 1,000th like of the stream. Go down there, hit that like button. Freaking hype to get Mahomes here at 28. Naptown asking, can we put the Allen Mahomes pick'ems together? No, that is one thing. So with Underdog, they have the 3 pick'ems for everybody that's new this week. Only with promo code FLOCK, you're going to get the all 3, but you can't use them together. Underdog only allows you to use 1 pick'em special per slip. So I'm sorry about that. Obviously, it would be beautiful if you could use all 3. Now, Fabian says 8-team Happy BR League with 2 flex spots. Burrow, Diggs, Hopkins, Pollard, Mason, Kelsey. Okay, perfect. Ramondre Hall, benches Sanders, Montgomery. This is what we are looking for. I think the only thing we're looking to do is make 2-for-1 deals in the starting lineup, see if we can get upgrade with some of these RBs. But overall, I mean, this is exactly what we're looking for in that 8-team league. It all pretty much comes down to if we can get that elite level tight end in Travis Kelsey. It's because everybody's going to be strong at running back, wide receiver. Chug and Jay says 14-team PBR. I have the 13th pick. There's a chance I can get Diggs. What do you think is the better duo, Chubb and Lamb or Diggs and Jacobs? Probably Diggs and Jacobs. And I really like going like 1 wide receiver, 1 running back out the gate in a 14-team league if we're picking at the turn. Because, I mean, you have no idea what's going to be available to you on the way back around at the 3-4 turn when you have so long between picks. Okay, but now we have some wide receivers going here in the middle of round 3. Okay. DJ Moore goes 34, so you assume that team's setting up a Justin Fields selection at 39. Y'all remember when Justin Fields used to consistently go in the middle of the 5th? Teresa says, my Fire Guys League drafted at pick 9, 12-team half PBR, 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, tight end, and a flex. We have Burrow, Chubb, Jacobs, Debo, Hopkins, Goddard, Tyler Boyd, Sutton, Swift, Michael Thomas, McKinnon, Elijah Mitchell, Darnell Mooney. How did I do well? Teresa, first off, thank you so much for being out here in every single live stream with us. If y'all don't know, Teresa is probably out in the stream, at least over the past few years, more than literally any other person. And by far, I don't want to say by far, but definitely top 3 at the absolute minimum. So we have Burrow stacked with Boyd. Not a super premium stack that we're looking at, though. We have 2 running backs we feel very comfortable with. We have a good enough quarterback, a good enough tight end. I like this team more in that half PPR format than I would in a full PPR league. We are a little bit lacking at wide receiver, but at the end of the day, I think we can get away with it in a half PPR format, right? Where we have the elite level running backs. But hopefully we get a wide receiver breakout from one of these guys. I think maybe it's probably going to help with Cortland Sutton early on with no Jerry Jeudy. But London going 43. Oh, if Travis Etienne would have made it to us, I would have been pumped. I would have been pumped to have Etienne. Okay, let's swing this back around. Hopkins goes, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Najee Harris as our RB1, similar to what we did in the last draft. Najee Harris at pick 45, I'm completely fine with. We will balance out our exposures here. McCall says 12-team league, RB1 with Eckler. Other running backs are Swift and Zeke. Thinking about picking up Deion Jackson, Zach Moss, Evan Hull. What running backs would you start week 1? Yeah, so the issue is, what you're saying. Thinking about picking up one of these Colts running backs. We have no idea who the Colts RB is going to be week 1. There's no way in hell you could go through and start a Colts running back right away. I think you probably have to go ahead and start DeAndre Swift. I would go Swift, and if we get some clarity on who the actual guy is in Indianapolis, then at that point, if we can go ahead and make the pivot, I think it makes sense. But Jordan says Purdy, Mixon, Bijan, Jefferson, Jamar, Schultz, Garrett Wilson. And then on the bench, we have Pacheco, Pierce, Mike Williams, and Hollywood. Should we trade for a quarterback? Hell yes. If we can, if there's no quarterback better than Purdy on the waiver wire, trade for a QB. Go out there and send, say, Dameon Pierce, Mike Williams, and see if we can get someone like just Justin Fields in return. I think you have to. Now, Deontay Johnson off the board, 48. Fine with that. Hopefully we see one of these teams take Burrow. The issue is the team that took Chase also has hurt, so they're willing to double tap the quarterback there. Okay, Aaron Jones off 51. There are two guys that I know I want. For the love of God, hopefully we get one of these players. We'll see. We'll see. Kenneth Walker goes, so one of our guys off the board. But Simon says 10-team BBR where we have Lawrence, Chubb, Gibbs, Madison, Charbonnet, Dobbins, Penny, Devon Chain, Reem Mostert. We also have Diggs, Ridley, Addison, Johnson, Waller. Do I need a better wide receiver 3 now? I know you'll say to trade Waller. Okay, we won't go down there. So, I mean, yeah, I'd say wide receiver is going to struggle early on. If this is a league where you only have one flex spot, I'm not going to be worried about it. In a league with only one flex, I think that you're going to be able to sort it out and hopefully eventually get one of those breakouts, whether that's from Jordan Addison or Quentin Johnston. But if it's a league where you have to start 3 wide receivers, then yeah, I probably would make a play for another wide receiver because we have a lot of long-term upside. Somebody to start in the short term. Okay. Jobin says, I was the 12th spot in that $350 draft. What do you think of the field stack, double stack, running backs for kind of hurting? Well, I'll tell you for a damn fact, my friend, it was a better team than ours for a damn fact. So let me go ahead and check this out. So team 12. Field stack quarterback. Running back, Barkley, White, Damian Harris, Ty Chandler, Deuce Vaughn. Okay, so generally, I think that this is a phenomenal construction, especially looking at tight end, wide receiver. It's a great construction for a Best Ball Mania team. Like if you're looking at one of these underdog tournaments where there are hundreds of thousands of entrants, you need to be going 9 wide receivers here. You need to be just slamming as many of these guys at the end. But specifically in one of those smaller stakes, high stakes, smaller field tournaments, I feel like we are pretty damn good at those. I was the only person to win 2 of them last year. You want to be typically taking the extra running back and 1 fewer wide receiver. Now, with that being said, I accidentally autoed a running back round 18, so I personally took 1 too many running backs. But if I were you, I think you want to be pivoting off of taking Calvin Ridley there in the last round. I'm sorry, Calvin Austin there in the last round of the high stakes tournament and pivoting to getting a 6th RB if that's how our RB room is going to look. But Turbid Player says, I'm in a keeper ESPN league. My keepers are Kupp and Bijan. It's possible CMC. Oh my, wait, what? If you're telling me you could possibly get CMC, don't stress, oh, do I take a running back or wide? No, if CMC is somehow available, so you take CMC. Aaron says, hey, Mason, I traded the 11th for the 4th pick in a league where we can start 4 wide receivers, but I gave him my 5th rounder while I got back 2 6th rounders. Was that a bad deal? You gave up the 11th pick and a 5th for the 4th pick and 2 6s. No, that's a phenomenal trade. Prohibit says, how high are we on Hawk? What can I give? I love Hawk. I think TJ Hawkinson is clearly the tight end 3. I know some people think that Waller's in the same tier. I think Hawkinson is in a completely different tier than those other tight ends. I mean, this is someone that straight up is a top 5 tight end just last year, and he's just now stepping into his prime. I like this situation with the passing volume in the offense. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take TJ Hawkinson. Don't trade him. And let's move this over. The True King says, hey, Mason, 10-team BBR 1 flex. We have Fields, Bijan, Pollard, Ridley, Amari, DJ Moore, and then on the bench, Gainwell, Zach Moss, Sky Moore, Jameson Williams. What should we improve on? In a 10-team 1 flex league, there's no reason to roster Jameson Williams. Cut Jameson Williams. See if we can find a high exciting upside player off the waiver wire. It's going to really handicap your ability to make waiver wire moves for the first 6 weeks. And Jameson Williams really not going to make a difference in a format like this, almost regardless. So I think that's really the only thing. I really like the starting lineup. It's just dropping Jameson Williams unless you put him on the IR, picking up someone that we like off the waiver wire. But Kyle Pitts goes 63. So interesting to see that tight ends overall in this draft are going a little bit earlier than you'd assume. You have Kittle off at 40. Kyle Pitts going 63. Okay, so let's move this around. Pacheco off 64 is earlier than you usually see. Real Royalty Sky coming out says, Kupp Akers for Amon-Ra St. Brown, Khalil Herbert. I'm going to go Kupp Akers. Kupp Akers. And Ajobi coming out with another donation. I'm very sorry, my friend. I answer every single donation. I just go in order. So please never think I missed your question. You need to donate again. Now, Lawrence goes 66. I'm not looking at Lawrence here when we have Mahomes and we have no Jags. Eric says Eckler, Hurts, Olave, Evans, Kenneth Walker, Ingram, Addison. Love it. It's going to be a cold day in hell when I go out there and say I don't like a Jalen Hurts team, my man. Now, we're going to go ahead and we will take Jerry Jeudy. Now, reason being is this is a Best Ball Mania draft where so many teams have taken Jerry Jeudy significantly before this. So many teams took Jerry Jeudy at the 3-4 turn, where this is going to give us a little bit of a unique build overall. And also, we are just chasing the highest ceiling possible for weeks 15, 16, 17. It is a $25 buy-in, $3 million first place prize. Aaron says, thanks, Mason. I plan on getting Tyreek with the 4th pick unless CMC drops to me. But who should I target in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and both picks in round 6? In that kind of league, I think you can take middle round wide receiver values, because if it's a league where we have to start 3 and we have a flex and full PPR, I think we want to go ahead and pull the trigger. The 6 picks, you're probably going to get wide receivers, though. So I probably actually look to go ahead and at least grab an elite level quarterback round 2 or round 3, depending on the price point you think you have to spend on them. Yeah, because with those round 6 selections, you're probably going to be able to grab wide receivers, and running backs are not going to be that exciting. Jay says, Mason, I just saw that it canceled my purchase automatically. Do you know what? I am very, very sorry, my friend. I have no idea. I have no idea. Flockfantasy.com. I handle the stuff over there. YouTube, I have no control. I'm sorry. Let's move this over. Gabe Davis goes 72. I think we'll have a player that we really like making it to us at 76, and we just have a lot of flexibility with what we can do with this team. Kind of surprised to see this team take Gabe Davis, I'm going to be honest with you. They go Dobbins. Yeah, Dobbins is a no-brainer selection at the 6-7 turn. If you already have 5 wide receivers, that is. James Cook goes 74. I wasn't going to really be looking at James Cook here. What does Aaron decide to do? What are they doing here? They go Addison. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Cam Akers. Cam Akers is the guy that we were wanting once J.K. Dobbins was off the board. Definitely would prefer Dobbins over Akers, but nonetheless, getting Cam Akers round 7 when we only have one running back in this draft, I think it's going to be a no-brainer. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just stepping in, we are drafting Underdog Fantasy football teams on this live stream every single day. Of course, if you want to get in a draft with us, you can find a link in the live chat, description section, comment section. If you sign up to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you're going to get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And also, I've never seen this before, so please make sure you are taking advantage. Week 1, they have a site-wide special, more than less than half a total yard for Patrick Mahomes against the Detroit Lions. There's an exclusive Josh Allen special pick'em, more than less than half a passing yard against the Jets week 1 on Monday night, but that's only for people who use promo code FLOCK, and also only for new users on Underdog Fantasy. There's also going to be an additional mystery pick'em special week 1. So you have 3 special pick'ems week 1. I've literally never seen anything like that before. So please make sure you are going ahead, sign up to Underdog with promo code FLOCK. That way you get all 3. And of course, if you are a member of flockfantasy.com as well, go to the account page on flockfantasy.com for you, put in your Underdog username, and you'll get a free $10 in your Underdog account on top of all that. But Flyers fan coming out with a donation. Thank you, my man. Says 10-team app PBR where we have Hurts, A.J. Brown, Keenan Allen, Bijan Robinson, Kenneth Walker, Mark Andrews, Scary Terry. On the bench, we have Christian Watson, so he's going to slide in over to Scary Terry. Mike Evans, Gibson, Charbonnet, Jamal, and Samaje. How did we do? Love the team. I actually think we go ahead and start Jamal Williams week 1, though. I think with the Condre Miller injury and with the Alvin Kamara suspension, Jamal Williams all of a sudden is someone that you have to start in the flex week 1 if we can. And I would really like to go ahead and like package him together afterwards with one of these options like Mike Evans or Christian Watson to get a long-term upgrade at either running back or wide receiver just because we have so much depth. But great team. Okay. Now, Michael Thomas off the board, 87. Now, Simon says, also won my league last year thanks to you. Long live the flock. Are you high on Dobbins or Madison? Going back to my question, those would be traded. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's see. And congrats on winning your league last year, my man. And thank you so much for coming back to hang out with us. So if we were looking at this, if we're looking at Alexander Madison and J.K. Dobbins, if we could package together like one of those guys with the wide receiver to get a great wide receiver return, then sure, let's go ahead and do it. I would rather have Alexander Madison over J.K. Dobbins, but they're not that far apart for me, my man. Okay. Richardson off the board. We're going to go ahead and, oh my gosh, I'm actually going to take Cortland Sutton, get the Sutton-Judy double stack at a pretty strong value here. I think this puts us in a position where we can go ahead and take Russ later on as well at an extreme discount. Russ goes super late in these drafts. Generally, I'm not targeting Russell Wilson. But yeah, if we didn't take Jerry Jeudy, I probably would take Quentin Johnston over Sutton. But we also need the production at the beginning of the season. Judy's not going to give us anything early on, whereas, I mean, we already have the upside with Jeudy later on. So it doesn't make a lot of sense for us to go in real quick. I'll be back in 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. I am sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, but we are back and will not happen again. So let's go ahead and let's hopefully see, a non-wide receiver make it to us. We're already sitting with Tyreek, Olave, Jeudy, Sutton, so we're pretty set at receiver. We do already have an elite quarterback with Mahomes. We have a great tight end with Hawkinson, so it's not like we have any quote-unquote team needs, right? See what Donald decides to do. Now, it's going to be interesting is, does he take the falling Deshaun Watson value? And if he doesn't, do we take Watson to have with Mahomes and essentially just lock up the elite level quarterback production each and every week? Okay. He goes Watson, so we're not going to do it. And let's go ahead. Let's take Tony to stack with Mahomes. Y'all know, all offseason, we talked trash on Kadarius Toney, called him the worst pick in fantasy football drafts when he was going round 6. But all offseason, I'd said I'd be willing to take Kadarius Toney if he went after pick 100. Here we have we have Patrick Mahomes. So we get the stack. Not only do we have the stack, but at the same time, we get him at pick 100, so there is the value. So let's go ahead and let's pull the trigger. EM is bad says, enjoying the stream. 12-team PPR where we have Lawrence, Barkley, Etienne, Lamb, Ridley, Dulcich, Brees, JSN, Hunt, Thomas, Davis, Roschon, Musgrave. What are your thoughts? Tight end's ugly, my man. Tight end is ugly. Now, I think we're strong enough at wide receiver and running back to get by. I really like that we make the one big bet on the offense in Jacksonville, essentially saying if Jacksonville goes out there and crushes, we're going to do extremely well. But yeah, for the love of God, hopefully one of those tight ends works out for us. Now, Coy says 8-team family league. I have CMC, Kelsey, Diggs, Lamb. Okay, yeah. I'm assuming you are playing with your children, and that's how that happened. That is crazy, my man. And Jordan asking the opinion on Brock Purdy. I think Purdy Doesn't have a ton of fantasy football upside because he lacks rushing upside. With that being said, I do think that at the end of the day, Brock Purdy has a great situation where, I mean, obviously it's hard to argue with someone that is currently sitting with Christian McCaffrey as, I mean, obviously the best receiving down back in the NFL. And then on top of that, I mean, you have Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. So, I mean, I think Purdy will be fine from a real life perspective, but from a fantasy football perspective, I don't know if we're too pumped. Now, NJ coming out says, who should I start week 1 at running back, Walker or Gibbs? Actually, going to go Walker week 1, Gibbs in the long term. And wide receiver, Amari or Higgins. We'll go Higgins. Nasty Nate says, my team on NFL Fantasy. I have Lawrence, Chubb, Tyreek. Yeah, oh my, how the hell? That wide receiver room is obnoxious. I have no idea how the hell we got that with Nick Chubb at running back. Really comes down to if we can find a running back too with upside. Mo says 10-team PBR double flex. We have Mahomes, Dobbins, Javonte, Lamb, Olave, Kelsey. So we have the Mahomes, Kelsey stack. Mike Williams, Gibson. The bench has Hall, Charbonnet, Hollywood, JSN, Quentin Johnson. Should I start Hall or Gibson? Was thinking a 2-for-1 RB deal. I don't think we can make a 2-for-1 deal just yet. I mean, we have a team that's really set up for success in the long term. But in the short term, we may struggle just a little bit. And honestly, for the flex spot week 1, I think Hollywood's also in play, but it would probably go Breece Hall. I don't want to do a 2-for-1 deal yet until we have our guys back and healthy or we have a breakout from some of those bench options. Great team in the long term. Just need to have a breakout in the short term. Alex says, if MT stays healthy this year, he's a league winner. I have not drafted much Michael Thomas this year. Let me see how much Michael Thomas I have. Romeo Dobbs off the board, 113. I have 6% Michael Thomas, but it looks like I haven't taken him in any high-stakes drafts. Turbid Player says, I'm in an ESPN Keeper League. I have Bijan Kupp. It's possible that CMC... Okay, I thought we already answered this already, my friend. Let me make sure I'm reading it correctly. If you get CMC falling to you, you have to take Christian McCaffrey. You have to, my friend. You have to. And Grimsey's Gaming coming out says, what's good, Mason, my man? Thank you so much. 10-team PBR, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a flex, pick 7. We have Bijan, Chubb, Olave, Devonta Smith, Amari, Christian Kirk Cousins, David Njoku, and Cortland Sutton. Any advice? Okay, we're going to take Brian Robinson here as a quick side note. Brian Robinson is the easiest selection ever, 117, whenever we're only sitting with Najee Harris, Cam Akers at running back. But we have the elite running backs. We have wide receivers with upside. The only thing I'd say is if you get a sell-high moment on Cousins with no Jerry Jeudy, where we can package, say, Sutton, and package him with Cousins to get an upgraded quarterback, I think that would be interesting. But Richard coming out says, how did I do? 9th pick in a $25 best ball draft on Underdog. Bijan, Chubb at the gate. Very surprised that you actually had Chubb falling. Allen, oh my gosh. As long as we slam wide receivers, we're good. Keenan, Lockett, Dotson, Pitts, Brandon Cooks, Charbonnet, Jamal, Boyd, Sam Howell, Singletary, Dell, Shaheed, Von Ertz. If we can get like Jahan Dotson breaking out to be a solid, I just think there are going to be like so few teams that have Bijan Robinson, Nick Chubb, Josh Allen together. That is freaking beautiful, my man. If we can get like a full-blown Jahan Dotson breakout, I think you'll be in a really good spot. Okay. But, coming out asking how low Cooper Kupp's coming now. Cooper Kupp fell to pick 12 in this draft. I'll say I will draft Cooper Kupp all day long if you're going to be getting him at pick like 12, pick 13. But that's how low he fell in this draft. And ladies and gentlemen, we are 1 like away from hitting 1,100 likes on this live stream. So please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this stream, and help us out, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So Charbonnet off the board at 120. Penny goes. Cousins is in play for us if Cousins is the guy who falls, considering the fact that we did take T.J. Hawkinson. There will be a considerable amount of Kirk Cousins and Patrick Mahomes team, so not necessarily a super unique build. Jamison Williams off 122. We still are set up where we can go Russell Wilson later on, but it looks like this team is going to give us Cousins. We'll go ahead. We will take Cousins. We'll only draft 2 quarterbacks here. If we take Cousins, pair him up with Hawkinson, then maybe we can get away with drafting 3 tight ends. Or maybe we still only go 2 tight ends, but we end up going 6 RBs with this team, right? There are a couple different ways that this can work out, but overall, I freaking love our team. Wide receiver, we're currently sitting with Tyreek Hill, Chris Olave, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Kadarius Toney. Quarterback, we have Mahomes stacked up with Toney. We have Cousins stacked up with Hawkinson. Running back, we have Najee, Akers, Brian Robinson, and we have Hawkinson at tight end. I really like this team, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I really do think that this is a team that has, $3 million in its range of outcomes. You only need one. You only need one draft. Okay, Laporta goes 128. Coming out says, just got Kupp at 21. Great value. Then oh my gosh. If Kupp starts going in the second round, Kupp will probably end up being my most drafted player. That is wild, my man. Now, Noah says, Fields, Jacobs, Taylor, Kamara, James Cook, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Dallas Goedert, Debo Sutton, Evans. Any tips? Chase Lamb, beautiful start. Really, I just say if we start Chase Lamb, we don't want to be slamming wide receivers after, right? If our top running backs are Taylor, Kamara, James Cook, I think it would be interesting to try to trade like Debo, Sutton, Evans, see if we can get some running backs. Maybe package one of those wide receivers with one of our running backs, see if we can get an upgrade at RB that way. If we have Chase and Lamb holding down the fort at wide receiver, we don't necessarily need all that wide receiver value. So let's move this over. Lazard off the board, 133. What's the report with Rice? Starting in bench roll. Wait, Justin Ross is making the team officially? Am I late to the party and figuring this out? Let's go and let's figure this out. What I'm seeing, it looks like Justin Ross is making the team. Great news for someone out drafting Justin Ross. Your boy has not been drafting much Justin Ross, so your boy may be in a little bit of a tough spot, right? Now, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Rice, falling down drafts. We have Mahomes. I don't know if we're going to be taking him here anymore without Mahomes. But I think it still makes sense, right? Wide receivers making it back around. Maybe Van Jefferson stands out. No, Van Jefferson goes 142, so we're not able to take him. Wonder how far Van Jefferson should be moved up with the Cooper Kupp injury, though. But Marco's coming out. Says 12-team PBR, 3 wide receivers in a flex, Big Ten. Watson, Mixon, Sanders, Lamb, Waddle. Okay. Was worried until we saw Lamb and Waddle. Amari, Dotson, Komet. Definitely want to be rostering 2 tight ends there, but I agree. In a league where you have to start 3 wide receivers, makes sense to go through and slam them early. Okay. Van Jefferson, Jonathan Mingo off the board, 142, 143. Cloud LLC says Kupp just went 16 in my draft. Oh my gosh. Cooper Kupp falling like a rock. Just when a couple days ago, I took him at pick 6 in a $500 draft. Okay, Patel goes Russ. Yeah, I mean, we had both Judy and Sutton, so we were talking about going Russ previously, but once we go with Jefferson there, it's weird that they take Russ at this point unstacked rather than just Kirk Cousins earlier on. Assuming Cousins a way better option than Russ. Plus, you'd have Cousins stacked with Jefferson rather than Russ, not with anybody else. They go Higbee. I would have taken Higbee if you would have made it back around to us. Pump coming out with a massive dono. Long time member of the flock. My man, how are you not a moderator on the channel? Let me go ahead and make you a moderator. But Mason, I need your help. I traded pick 18 and 31 for pick 4. I got CMC Bijan, but my wide receivers are terrible. I have Mike in Hollywood in a 3 wide receiver league, and my flex is Pacheco. What do I do? We play the waiver wire, play the waiver wire, play the waiver wire. I think ultimately, if you have CMC, Bijan Robinson on the same team, you made the right decision. Now, if it was going to be a league where, say, you had multiple flex spots, then maybe it would be a little bit of a different story. If it was like a start 3 wide receiver league with 2 flexes, then we probably pivot, say that's not great. But yeah, in a league where you only have 1 flex spot, I love it, my man. Even if you're a little bit weak initially, we're just going to play the waiver wire and hopefully we can find someone in the long term. And if you have Bijan, CMC holding down the 4, you could have the top 2 running backs in fantasy. Now, Idian coming out says a 14-team PPR where we have Tua, Jacob, Sanders, Adams, Devonta Smith, Tyler Higbee, Brandon Ayuk, Damian Harris, Samir White, Javonte, Gus, Flowers, Jacoby. How do you feel and what are some moves we can make? Love the channel. Keep it up. Thank you so much, my man. My initial reaction is like, oh, what the hell are we doing with Samir White, Gus Edwards? Let's cut these bombs. But 14-team league, obviously, you are going to have to go much deeper. 14-team format, all I'll say in general is if we could pivot over to Waddle to stack with Tua, like, I don't want to be trading a ton, right? I mean, making a 2-for-1 deal, it's going to be a little bit harder when we have a lack of depth overall. But if we could trade like Smith and a super small piece, like Damian Harris, Jacoby Myers, like something small, just get a pivot to Jalen Waddle, I think that'd make a lot of sense to get the Tua stack. Outside of that, well-balanced team, and generally we are looking to go ahead and punt tight ends in a 14-team format, so I like that. And long-time member of the flock out here at every stream coming out says, should I trade Metcalf, Amon-Ra, and Barkley for Eckler and A.J. Brown in a 6-team league? 6-team league, yes. Metcalf's not going to make a difference. Pump says, what does being a moderator do? Honestly, not much. Gives you credit. It gives you some street cred in the chat. And if you're a moderator in the live chat, don't feel like you ever have to do anything, my friend. Just if you see someone like spamming the same question over and over and over again, if you wanted to click their name and hit like put user in timeout, you can. Also, if you don't want to do anything, you don't have to do anything. But one other thing that the mods generally do is like they'll be like the free NFL stream, click here YouTube channels. Like there you can hit like hide user on channel. But Riley coming out, happy to see you, says, that time of the year again, I drafted Kupp at the 9 slot. However, not sure what to do with them. I received an offer, Kupp and Swift, for Olave and Walker. I think you have to hold. It's such a brutal spot, but honestly, pick 9, I'd still be fine taking Cooper Kupp. He's listed as day-to-day, right? It would be completely different if he was listed as week-to-week. Now, should we believe the day-to-day listing? That's a different question. That's a different story. But I don't necessarily think we need to be going out and full-blown panicking and saying, oh, yeah, no, this is someone that we just have to sell at any cost now. I think you can't hold. Now, Chandler says about start draft. Don't know what it is meant to say. At pick 4 in an 8-team league, thoughts on Kelsey Mahomes. 8-team league, this is what you want to do. Generally, it'd be fine if you passed on Mahomes in round 2. If you think you can get him on the way back around round 3 or Allen or Hurts. But definitely pick 4 in an 8-team league. You have to take Kelsey. I may take Kelsey over any other wide receiver in an 8-team format. Just the fact that you're going to be able to find such strong options later on. Jeff Wilson goes at 160, so it looks like that team did not hear the news. I mean, obviously good for us that we're going to get other guys pushed down, right? Now, Brutus coming out, long time member of the Flocks, says, hey, Mason, I accidentally set a maximum on my Underdog account and won't let me do anything for 90 days. Any help/advice you can give me? I'm Santi from the Flock in Discord. Thanks. Emails, no help. I'm super sorry, my friend. I have no idea. I've never set a limit on Underdog. If you shoot them a DM on Twitter, maybe they can help you there. I'm very sorry, my friend. I don't know. Okay, so this team only has 3 RBs. You assume they possibly go ahead and look to pull the trigger on a running back here. They're really doing whatever the hell they want. They took Rondale Moore, pick 140 with an ADP of 165. They go Everett, so we will go ahead and we'll take Cole Kmet as our second tight ends. Now, Kmet, Hawkinson have the same bye week. I do think we can get away with drafting a third tight end, considering our second guy was drafted in round 14. Pretty damn strong at wide receiver as well. So maybe like a 2-6-7-3 build. But Reeded coming out says, 10-team full BBR super flex. We have Smith and Goff, Chubb, Stevenson, Madison, Pacheco, Devon Achane, Chase, St. Brown, Ridley, DJ Moore, Pittman. Tight end, we have Schultz, Laporta, and DJ. I honestly think that we can go ahead and I think we can afford an upgrade here, especially in a 10-team league. I mean, if we can go possibly package together, say, Isaiah Pacheco or DJ Moore with one of our tight ends in Sam Laporta to get an upgrade at tight end, I think it makes a lot of sense. Or with Dalton Schultz. Like, if you could trade like DJ Moore, Dalton Schultz to get to TJ Hawkinson, I'd really like that. Or another move we could look to make is potentially trying to sell like DJ Moore and Geno Smith to get to a quarterback like Watson, Trevor Lawrence. I think it also could be an interesting move, my friend, just because we have so much depth at wide receiver and running back in that league. Okay, so let's move this over. Irv Smith Jr. off the board, 169. Now, a couple different ways that we can take this. I don't know what we want to be doing. I don't know what we want to do. But Santi coming out against us on another note, 12-team BBR double flex. I have pick 6, and the number 1 pick is a Bills fan, so he's definitely going to go Josh Allen. Feel like I'll get the choice between either Kelsey, Bijan, or Eckler. Oh, that would be beautiful, my man. I think that here, if it's a double flex format, I'm going to be a little bit more willing to pivot over to Bijan Robinson. But you can't really go wrong with any of these 3 guys. In a league with only 1 flex, I think the pick's Kelsey easily. But outside of that, I think you could also look at Bijan. Now, we're going to go ahead. We will take DJ Chark, especially if we don't want to have to take another wide receiver in the rest of this draft. I think it makes sense to get someone that we feel comfortable with, hopefully, him making a difference early on. But DRB says 10-team PBR 1 flex. Hurts, Barkley, Gibbs, Tyreek, a lot. How the hell did we get this team? Kamara, Terry, Brian Robinson on the bench. Beautiful. Wait till Kamara or Terry comes back. Then at that point, we're going to make a 2-for-1 deal, try to upgrade from Waller. But, I mean, great team, my friend. But I think that should be it for this live stream. We've been live for about 2.5 hours. But, of course, we'll be live tomorrow with more Underdog Fantasy Football drafts. So if you want to get in the drafts with us tomorrow, the next day, we're doing this every single night. You can find the link to Underdog Fantasy in the live chat in the description in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK will get you a 100% deposit match up to $100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And on top of that, make sure y'all are taking advantage of this ASAP. There's a site-wide special right now with Patrick Mahomes, more than less than half a total yard Thursday night against the Lions week 1. Plus, on top of that, we have an exclusive Flock special pick'em, more than less than half a passing yard for Josh Allen against the Jets week 1. And on top of that, we have a Special mystery pick'em week 1 only for people who are new to Underdog Fantasy. Literally have never seen anything like that before. So please go ahead and make sure you are taking advantage. You can find that link in the live chat description comment section. But thank you again. I really do appreciate y'all. I really hope you have a great night. And I really hope I get to see you out in a live stream tomorrow, the next night, I'll see you every single night.